Sarajevo 84, the 14th Olympic Winter Games, are brought to you by IBM Canada Limited, helping Canadians reach beyond. Crown Life, the official insurer of the Canadian Olympic team. You make us better, Esso. Sears, where you get your money's worth and more. Sunkist, the champion of oranges. Shoppers Drug Mart, Canada's drugstore.
Day 10 of our CTV coverage of the 14th Winter Olympic Games in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia. And this is the day the medal round of hockey gets serious. The top team in Pool A plays the second place team in Pool B. That means Canada meets the Soviet Union in 1/2 hour from now. The puck will be dropped. Now, should Canada win this game, they are almost assured of a medal. Should they lose, they'll have another chance by playing Sweden on Sunday, probably for the bronze.
Smart money. Do you know where it's going? It's coming to Continental Bank, where we use advanced new business and personal banking systems to make sure your money is always in action. Continental Bank of Canada, bankers in action.
We are now 10 minutes away from the puck being dropped in the game between Canada and the Soviet Union. That game starts here at 8:30 Sarajevo time, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, so stay with us, we'll have it. And I might remind you now of something that's going to happen on Sunday, because Canada and Sweden will be playing probably for a bronze medal, and we are going to bring that game to you live. Now, that will go at 4 in the morning Eastern Standard Time in Canada. That's 1 o'clock if you're out in Vancouver, so you can just stay up out there and watch it. That's Canada and Sweden, 4 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, live on Sunday.
The Honda Magna. It's made its mark from the power of the V65 to the style of the V45. And now, the new V30 Magna, a liquid-cooled 500cc V4. Lean, low, and affordable. Catch it while you can. Honda.
And as we come into the medal round, a special salute to Team Canada. This is the official photograph taken by James Lipa, the photographer for the Canadian team. There they are, the team that so many are calling the Cinderella group here. They've been adopted by the United States as their team now, as Canada enters the medal round. And this game against the Soviet Union, Bernie Pascal is here with me. In this particular game, Bernie, the odds are very heavy on the Soviet side.
Well, anytime, right, Lloyd, anytime you play the Soviets, they've got awesome power, and so far here at the Olympic Games, they've outscored the opposition 42-5. And Canada, of course, with one loss, they've scored 24 goals and given up 10. There's always a certain magic in the air, though, when Canada plays the Soviets, and it's a game we're all looking forward to tonight.
The teams are on the ice, Canada and the Soviet Union. We go now to, nope, we're going to have a look at the medal round matchups first. Bernie, you go ahead.
Well, those are the big games coming up on Sunday, Lloyd. It'll be breakfast in Sarajevo for all of Canada. We'll have the game between Sweden and Canada. There you see the time, 4 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 a.m. Pacific Time, followed by the big game between the Soviets and Czechoslovakia, and that'll be the gold medal game because Czechoslovakia has just defeated Sweden by a score of 2-0. Czechoslovakia 2 and Sweden 0. And that was a great game, Lloyd. It went right down to the final seconds. They had to pull the goalie for the clinching goal.
Now we're going to the rink, and Tom Watt and Ron Wish are our commentators for the game between Canada and the Soviet Union.
Thanks very much, Lloyd, and good evening, everyone, from the Zetra. It's Canada versus the Soviet Union. The goaltenders for this game, Mario Gosselin, 1.85 goals against average in the tournament. And Vladislav Tretьяк, who's making his 6th start. There you see Dave King, coach of Team Canada. What a wonderful job he has done here. Tretьяk with a 1.00 goals against in the 6 starts that he has had of the Soviet 7 games. The bad news for Team Canada, Kurt Muller is out, an injury to his right knee. He will not play in this game. The referee is J.Kompalla of West Germany, the linesman Т.Мострём of Sweden, and L.Ванханен of Finland. The Soviets coming out of their own zone. That's big Fetisov. He clears it in over the line. The Soviets shoot it in there, and it is Gosselin down to make the big save. Fettisov just slid it in there, and all alone moving in, Bilялетdinov.
Well, that shows right off the bat the speed of the Soviets. Just breaking around the outside of the defense. James Patrick caught a little flat-footed here. Going across, Gosselin stays with Makarov all the way across the net and makes a super save this early in the hockey game. It was a big save at this point.
Against the boards now, it's Bartel trying to get away from the checking in against the boards by Krutov, cleared to the far side, and it's Patrick. Patrick behind the net, Tippett off the boards. Bartel having problems. He is on the limp inside the zone. The Soviets clear to the side of the net, and it's Tippett who gets it away and takes it to the far side. Bartel still on the limp and heading for the bench as Canada clears it in over the line. Tippett doing a lot of checking against Fetisov. Fetisov behind the net. Lead pass out to center ice. Come the Soviets now. Larionov clearing it to the line. Behind the net now. Driver going after it. Number 25 for Canada. Driver being checked in there. Homotov is in there. Number 15 for the Soviets. A rink-wide pass, and Canada is out to center ice with Lidster. Clearing it into the Soviet zone. Stельнов, the rookie, back to get it for the Soviets. To the far side, and out they come now. Homotov at center ice. The pass to Gerasimov. Gerasimov can't hold it against the checking. Donnelly's back there. They tip it along the boards. Now behind the net. Lidster along the boards. Still kept in. Starikov into the corner behind the net for Gerasimov. Gerasimov along the boards, and it rolls all the way out to center ice, and the Soviets will regroup. Number 12 there is Starikov. Rink wide. To the line. Canadian territory. Driver gets it to center ice. Kerry Wilson. Ahead, Flatley. Flatley just backhands it around the boards. For the Soviets, Igor Stельнов. Stельnov along the boards, playing without the helmet, is Homotov. A rink-wide pass for Gerasimov. Rozhetsky's in over the line. He leaves the puck for Shepelev, who goes to the goal mouth, but missed the net with that. And out to center ice it comes once again. Leading the rush, this is Courtnall. Courtnall trying to work for the net, and it's taken away from him. Some good work by Bilялетdinov. Back come the Soviets. Gerasimov. He's checked out of the play, and the puck winds up behind the net now. Around the boards, Redmond. Far side just chopped out to center ice by Gagne. Back to get it for the Soviets, Bilялетдинов. Bilялетdinov on the wing for Tumanev. Tumanev against the boards, number 28, back near the line, and it winds up at center ice on the stick of Первухин. Bilялетdinov, Первухin once again, and he had it go off the forechecking of Courtnall. Gagne's in there now. Gagne trying to roll it out in front of the net. Deneen is there, but he couldn't get a shot away, and the Soviets again bring it back. Good tempo early in this game. Over the line for the Soviets, Tumanev. Tumanev up against the boards, back to the blue line. Fetisov. Fetisov moving in now, and it's checked away from him. The Soviets controlling it inside the zone, and it's popped free and cleared against the boards and out to center ice. And Tumanev back to get it inside his own zone. We've already played 3 minutes and 22 seconds here in the first period. No score. Fetisov out to center ice now. Tumanev over the line, offside, and we'll have a face-off outside the Team Canada blue line.
Only the second whistle in 3.5 minutes in the hockey game, and one of the things that the Soviet team likes to do, they have 20 players dressed. They play all 4 lines equal time. They play 3 sets of defensemen equal time, and they try to keep the tempo very, very high and just keep wearing you down, keep skating, make you work as hard as you possibly can. They play their whole bench all of the time.
Face-off outside the blue line for the Soviet Union. Vladimir Kovin at Skindaria. Finland is leading West Germany 2-1 in one of the lower medal. This is not a medal round game, but the second division of the tournament. Finland 2, West Germany 1. Big Fetisov back in his own zone, number 2. Fetisov checked up against the boards inside the zone. It is sent to center ice. Vasiliev, Skvortsov back to Vasiliev. cruises in over the line, takes a bump from Driver. It winds up in the corner. Tippett's in there, so is Driver. Driver loses it, and the puck is cleared to an open wing, and there's going to be a penalty to Team Canada as Fettisov inside the blue line. The goaltender is out of the net now as Makarov comes off the bench. Makarov is the extra man. Drops it off. Number 9 is Krutov. Krutov leaves it for Fettisov. Fettisov at center ice now. Fettisov to the line. He can move it. Fettisov moving in against the boards. Carries that puck around behind the net, and finally Team Canada picks it up. A reminder for the stations to check your log. This is break number 1, and we're going to take a break right now. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
You take charge, people taking charge.
And you've made Chevy Cavalier our fastest growing subcompact.
Taking charge in your own way. You're taking charge with Chevrolet.
84 Chevy Cavalier. There's one for you. Coupe, sedan, hatchback, or wagon. And a down-to-earth Chevy price from only $72.76. Chevy Cavalier from $72.76.
Price the way you want to pay. You're taking charge with Chevrolet.
Soviet Union on the power play. Driver off for slashing. Here's a shot off the shoulder of Gosselin. It's batted out near the line, but kept in. Now Makarov against the boards on this side. Makarov tried to set up now. He's got Fettisov at the point, but he leaves it at the side of the net for Krutov, and then who in turn gives it back to Makarov. Now it is Fettisov. Makarov against the boards. Now moves it out on the far side. That's Kazanov. Kazanov. Fettisov to the side of the net now. Makarov in front. Trying to get it. It was Larionov. He gave the puck off, and it is high in the air. It winds up behind the net. And the Soviets again control. Krutov. Krutov into the corner. Circling with that puck is Larionov, number 11. Out now to Kazanov. Had trouble handling it near the line. Feeds it into the corner. Makarov back to Fettisov. Fettisov moving away from a check. There's a shot right on, and it was a blast, and a good save by Gosselin. Out near the blue line now. First shot of the hockey game. Kazanov on this side. They switch those defensemen back and forth. Larionov. Larionov circling near the line now. Backhand pass to Kazanov. He's now playing on this side. Kazanov in for Krutov. Krutov into the corner. They move this puck around. Larionov's got the puck. Larionov working in front of the net. Drops it off for Kazanov into Makarov. Back to Kazanov. Now Makarov, number 24, fakes it. Now give and go, but they don't give it to him. They give it to the point, and Kazanov faked the shot. Gets away from the defense and shot it in there, and it deflected up against the glass behind the net. Now here's Krutov into the slot, and the shot is wide. Fettisov moving in. 19 seconds left in the power play. In behind the net now. They've left this unit out there for the whole power play. Larionov, number 11, out to Kazanov. Back to the corner. Makarov, Larionov, back to Makarov. He's in the corner. 2 seconds left in the penalty, and they clear it in front, but there's nobody there. It's Fettisov pinched in, and the penalty is over, and Canada has successfully killed it. Inside their own zone, Krutov. Krutov cutting in front of his own net. These guys are pretty tired. They've been out there for the whole penalty. Krutov still there. Feeds it behind the net for Fetisov. Ahead now at center ice. The Soviets on the attack again as Trostetsky gets it in over the line. Gerasimov on this side, circling with a puck near the blue line. Now back near the line, kept in by Starikov. It winds up in the corner, and Team Canada brings it out. Flatley at center ice, trying to get it ahead for Kerry Wilson, but Starikov came across, took the puck away, but couldn't get it out of the zone. Now Wilson going in against number 22 for the Soviets, Stельнов. Stельnov a rink-wide pass for Gerasimov. Also in there and clearing it around the boards is Darren Lowe on the far side now. Canada with Flatley getting it out to center ice. Back in his own zone, Starikov out at center ice. Trostetsky to the line now. That is Gerasimov. He's checked in against the boards by Lidster. Behind the net it goes. Canada with Driver out to center ice off the stick of Kevin Dineen. Up against the boards, Courtnall. Driver now over the line comes Dineen. Gets set. The shot drifted over top of the net. In the corner. Cleared along the boards. Out to center ice come the Soviets now. Long time between whistles as Chumanev clears it in over the line. He takes a check as he does so by Driver. Puck is in the corner. Back out near the line. Bilялетдинов behind the net. Check. Trostetsky is number 13. Gets it in the corner. He's checked by Driver. Is doing a good job out there. Now digging it loose is Chumanev. Back behind the net now. That is Khomutov. Rolls into the side of the net. It's poked out of harm's way by Craig Redmond. Now in the corner. It is Chumanev, number 28. Back out to the blue line. Bilyaletdinov's shot went off Redmond as he was cruising in front of the net. Redmond's got it behind the net, and he pins it in and holds it.
Team Canada's just been under tremendous pressure. The Soviets have kept control so very, very long. There have been few whistles. The Soviet team, of course, really is able to pass the puck, and they can skate, and they're just controlling the puck as long as they possibly can. 4 minutes and 2 seconds was the last stretch without a whistle.
Canada meets Sweden in its next game in the medal round, live on CTV Sunday at 4 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time in Canada. Sunday morning at 4 Eastern Time, Canada meeting Sweden, beginning an unprecedented day of Olympic coverage on CTV. Watch for it. Face-off is deep in the Team Canada end now. Soviets have had the pressure on, but they've had a limited number of shots so far. They just moved that puck around and around. Now against the boards, that's Kovin. Kovin back to the blue line. The shot by Kazantonov is wide of the net, or is deflected wide of the net. Skvortsov, this is the fourth line for the Soviets out there. Skvortsov along with Kovin and Vasiliev. And it's cleared back to the Soviet line, and Kazantonov is there to Vasiliev. Vasiliev ahead, and it's deflected off the stick of Skvortsov, and back to get it is James Patrick. Patrick off the glass and down the ice. And to get it will be Kazantonov. He's number 7. He plays generally with the great defenseman for the Soviet Union, Vyacheslav Fetisov. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics continues in a moment. Underway here. Soviet Union has a 5-0 shots on goal edge. The puck is pinned into the corner there. Makarov along with Darren Lowe. No score in the game. We passed the midway point nearing the midway point of the first period.
Well, another problem for Team Canada. Robin Bartel hurt his ankle in the first shift. He tried to take the second shift when the team was shorthanded. He has now left the bench, and if Team Canada doesn't play Anderson in this game, they'll be down to 4 defensemen, and 4 defensemen trying to play this Soviet team with 4 forward lines the way they skate. That's an awful lot of pressure for 4 young hockey players.
Well, false start on the face-off. There is the all-star line at last year's World Tournament. The line of Larionov, Krutov, and Makarov. And we have what they call the green unit here, and that unit was all-star. First all-star team at the World Tournament in Munich last season. We'll let you know when all 5 of them are out there. It's really something to played whistle, and Makarov touches it just inside the line, so we'll get another face-off. There you see him, Sergei Makarov. High scorer in the Soviet Union, but he's been hurt a bit this year, and he's not the leading scorer this year.
Well, it's interesting to watch how the Soviets play. Their style ever since Tikhonov has been here. They play 2 forwards, very aggressive in their forechecking. 1 high forward in the middle to come back. Ludi Bukac there in the middle of your picture watching the game, the Czechoslovakian coach, an interested spectator. And then their 2 defensemen. But their 1 forward is always backing up defensemen who press and come down into the attack.
Bilyaletdinov inside his own blue line, clearing it rink wide. It's out over center ice. Первухин getting it down to the Canadians' line. Back now to Bilyaletdinov. Swinging around and along the blue line is Gerasimov. And it's shot right back into the Team Canada zone. Lidster back there, number 4 for Canada, around behind the net. Canada trying to organize now. It's cleared off the stick of Dave Gagne all the way down the ice. And back for it is Bilyaletdinov, and icing is no score in the game. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
There's a great reward when you're getting in shape. An ice-cold tab. And now that fantastic cola taste is also available without caffeine. Try Tab or new caffeine-free Tab. Either way, Tab is one smart choice.
And from the face-off, Team Canada again gets it down the ice into the Soviet zone. Sportsov back in his own zone. Rozhetsky's number 13 out over the line, and he is upended. And the puck is cleared back out to center ice, and a little bit of a dive, I thought, in that one. And the referee didn't go for it either. J.Kompalla is in over the line once again. Koshevnikov, who is the leading scorer in the Soviet Union right now. Koshevnikov, who plays for Spartak, jammed in against the corner. Down goes Craig Redmond. Trying to dig it loose is Dan Wood. Around behind the net. Cleared off the boards near the line. Moving in after it is Kazantonov, but it winds up down the ice. Fetisov will go back for it, number 2. Fetisov at the side of his own net. Team Canada makes a complete change. At center ice, Fetisov moving in at that great speed, and he rolls it out into the slot. There's the shot. Hits somebody in front of the net, and Team Canada breaks out very quickly with Kerry Wilson. Wilson going one-on-one against Kazantonov, and he got a weak shot away. Kazantonov collects it in the corner, clears it along the boards. It winds up out at center ice, and Darren Lowe is there. Daigneault on defense now for Team Canada. Lidster off the boards for Wilson. Wilson just rolling it down to the line, and it's steered right back out to center ice for Stельнов. Stельнов to Starikov. Over the line for Vasiliev. Vasiliev's quick shot. And the save is made by Gosselin, and he just holds on with the Soviets beginning to pour in on him. Well, there's a look down at the, what is that, the Team Canada bench? No, it is not the Team Canada bench. It's the Soviet bench, and that looks like Koshevnikov, who's being worked upon down there. Well, there he is. Fellow who's become very, very popular in Sarajevo, Mario Gosselin. Popular among Canadians, obviously, with the tremendous performance he's put in, but also very popular with the locals here.
He's one of the keys to the hockey game tonight, because Team Canada can play tight defensive hockey. The Soviets are always controlling the puck, and in that style of game, you've got to have good goaltending.
Ball start again on the face-off, and they'll do it all over again. Coven's number 31 out there to take the draw. There you see him. Koven, who made his debut in the 1976 Canada Cup, but has been in and out of favor in the Soviet Union. This is his first World or Olympic tournament. Played some of our big series, but never big series for the Soviets. Sportsov now, number 26, around the net on the far side, back out to the point. There's the shot by Starikov. It was a screen shot, and it was wide of the net. Vasiliev along the boards, taking a hit from Patrick. Moving in is Koven. Koven takes a hit from Dineen, manages to maintain possession. He's used that strength along the boards. Down he goes, but collecting it is now Stельнов. Stельnov behind the net for Vasiliev. Vasiliev trying to roll it out in front. That hit Driver, I think, in the face. He gets up, the puck goes in front of the net. The defenseman out of the play. Now here's Driver picking it up, and he'll get the whistle. And he is hurt, and he's going off the ice. Going back to touch it is number 22 for the Soviets, Igor Stельнов. And Driver heads for the bench slowly. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics continues in a moment.
Budweiser salutes all the people who help us go in the snow.
Our best for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. For all you do. Our best to you.
Yeah, this Bud's for you if you like your beer with that distinctively clean, crisp Beechwood age taste and smoothness that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Puck cleared into the Soviet end. Back for the Soviets is Zenatula Bilyaletdinov against the boards, being checked. Gets it loose, digs it out, throws it out to center ice for Krutov. Krutov cutting across the blue line, tried to roll it in front, hit a player. I think that was Lidster. And out at center ice comes Team Canada now. Back in over the line. For Canada, Wood clearing it into the corner, but the Soviets again get it with Bilyaletdinov. Ahead now. It is Krutov getting it from Larionov. Cuts in front of the net. What a save is made by Gosselin. Tremendous save as he went across the green on the play. Now here's Larionov in against the boards on the far side. They clear it in. Gosselin just shovels it into the corner now. Soviets attacking as Makarov is taken out of the play. Lidster's in there, and it winds up back at center ice, and Bilyaletdinov once again. Larionov working to the line. He's out there with Krutov and Makarov. The puck deflects up into the crowd, and we'll have a face-off.
Well, Team Canada short those defensemen, and we saw Driver also go off the ice. So there's Driver, but I'm sure he's going to be back. But Bartel and Driver, 2 left defensemen gone. Team Canada are now playing Denyo, who they've been using on the forward line. He's now moved back to play defense. Under an awful lot of pressure, the defense corps is a little short.
Well, there's Viktor Tikhonov, 49 years of age now. Played defense with Dynamo and retired as an active player in 1966. And then moved up through the nether regions of the Soviet League to take over this hockey club. Back in over the line for the Soviets is Shepelev. Cuts in front. It's loose at the side of the net. And again, the save is made by Gosselin. Got his glove down in front of that one. Now behind the net for Canada is Daigneault. Daigneault trying to work it to the corner. Gets it back again in the corner, but he's checked behind the net by Gerasimov. Now just shoveled into the corner on the far side. And out comes Patrick. A rink-wide pass past the outstretched stick of Darren Lowe. And back to get it is Kazantonov, and he touches it for the icing. There's Darren Lowe from the University of Toronto. Has played very, very well in this tournament.
Well, Team Canada can't afford to throw those pucks away. When they get a hold of that puck, they've got to make the good pass. They've got to try to control it, because against the Soviets, if you turn the puck over, they don't give it back to you. They control it until they get an opportunity. They move it down to your zone. So you can't just give the puck away for no reason at all. You've got to try to be positive. You got to make a play with that puck.
So the face-off, Tyomenev for the Soviet Union, but he doesn't win the draw against Denin, and it winds up behind the net. No score in this hockey game right now. At center ice, moving up on the play is Courtnall. Courtnall over the line, but he just couldn't get past Starikov. Now here's a shot, deflected just wide. Cruising in front of the net for Canada was Gagne, and it's against the boards. Soviets starting out now with Stельнов. Stельnov out to center ice, but Drozdetsky, he just tapped it back to his defense. Now back in over the line comes Drozdetsky. Drozdetsky around behind the net, tried to roll it in front, gets it again, and shot it high to the glove side of Gosselin. Took it off his shoulder. Puck bounces up over the glass, and it's called for a face-off. CTV is the place to be for Olympic coverage this weekend. Tomorrow we have the ladies' final in Olympic figure skating in the evening. Highlights of the 90-meter ski jumping, plus lots more in the afternoon. Join us for the final weekend here at the 14th Olympic Winter Games. And don't forget our unprecedented telecast, 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time, 1 in the West, as Canada meets Sweden, likely for the bronze medal. We'll be doing it live for you. Bernie Pascal and Tom will be here at the Zetra to bring you the telecast. It will be a much-awaited game, of course. Canada looking for its first medal in Olympic play since 1968 at Grenoble. Puck is jammed against the boards and pinned in there by Patrick.
Well, look at Tippett out there again. Here are all the face-offs in your own zone. Tippett, as we've seen throughout this tournament, James Patrick there behind. Tippett won the face-off back to him. The Soviets putting lots of pressure on. He had to hold the puck against the boards to get the draw.
There's Patrick going after it again as Tippett wins the draw. It winds up in the corner. Carpin trying to get it out to center ice, but it is shoveled on the backhand deep into the Canadian zone again by Skvortsov. Here comes Canada once again, starting out of the zone. The rink-wide pass by Redmond. Hustling in after it for Canada is Wood. He clears it back, and the Soviets start out once again at center ice. It is Skvortsov. Skvortsov over the line now, ducking away from a check. Maintains that possession. Drops it in now. Here's the shot coming into a crowd in front. That was Vasiliev cutting in front, but he just couldn't get his stick on it. And they wrestle for it against the boards. They are doing a pretty good job of putting the clutch on the Soviet player. It was Jean-Jacques Daigneault, and he got the whistle.
Well, Team Canada is playing a very disciplined game inside their own zone, but they've been inside their own zone too long. The Soviets have controlled. Daigneault has been forced to play defense. We saw him coming off with Driver. Hasn't come back yet. He's on the bench. Bartel has left the bench. We expect Driver back, but Bartel seems to be more seriously injured.
Shots on goal, and in this particular instance, they tell exactly the state of this hockey game at this point. 9-1 favor the Soviets, and they've had some real testers for Mario Gosselin so far. Here's Krutov back over the line. The shot by the defenseman Kazantonov is wide of the net, dug out against the boards by Larionov, but he put it right on Flatley's stick. And out comes Team Canada once again with Lidster over the line now, drops it off. Here's a shot, and a good one by Flatley. Back near the line now, shot in, and a good shot there by Daigneault, but he stick-handled it at the line and put himself offside.
Well, the puck just took a little jump and came back out over the line. He's nodding in agreement. He's a little mad at himself there, where it just bounced over his stick. We would have had a little bit of room to get that puck through. And, of course, Tretьяк who we see on our screen, has been just magnificent throughout this tournament. Although the Soviet team has controlled the puck so well that the opposition really haven't had that many good opportunities against them.
They have what they call the green unit out there now. The 6 players who are on the ice for the Soviet Union right at this moment were the 6 All-Stars. Nobody cracked the Soviet machine last year, the All-Stars at the World Tournament. And, of course, Canada had some NHLers at the tournament, including Darryl Sittler and the like. But what they call the green unit here. They play as a unit. They practice as a unit. They wear green sweaters in their practices. And there you see them. Larionov, the All-Star center. Krutov, Makarov, the wingers. Fetisov, here's a chance for Canada. It's off the shoulder of Tretjak. Lines up in the corner. The other defenseman is Kazantonov, and it's Fetisov against the boards. He's pinned in there. Canada getting it down inside the zone now. Flatley, this is the offensive line for Canada, and they're doing a job in there right now. Flatley backhanding it to Kerry Wilson. Wilson back near the line now. Feeds it rink wide. Nifty pass on the far side. Now Lidster moving in, and they force Tretjak to make a save. Still inside the zone, and Fetisov loses the puck to Wilson, who shoots it wide of the net. And it winds up back down at the blue line. Makarov in there forechecking, but Daigneault cleared it away. Here's Daigneault now. He's got excellent acceleration at center ice. He feeds it off the stick of Dineen, and it winds up deep inside the Soviet zone. Fetisov, rink-wide pass to Makarov at center ice. Checked up against the boards. Moving up now is Redmond, and he shoots it back in there again. Tretjak leaving it behind the net. Kazantonov in turn for Shepelev. Fetisov stick handling along the line. That is Homotov. He clears it in. Gosselin around the boards, but there's Fetisov on the far board, just ducking past the checking of Driver. Feeds it in deep now. Knocks off the puck is Drozgetsky as he tried to get free. Correct that. That is Gerasimov at the side of the net. Cleared in against the boards on this side now, and is chopped down the ice by Team Canada. As getting to the puck first was Dave Gagne. Back to get it will be Shepelev, and icing is called.
Well, the last shift is the best offensive series that Team Canada's been able to get, and I like the way Driver moved in. He didn't simply just dump the puck into the zone. He made a little play at the line. He got a good point shot. Tretjak had to be sharp, and then Fetisov just coughed the puck up directly. He just gave it right to Kerry Wilson, and his drive was wide of the net. But the best offensive series for Team Canada in the game.
Some all-world performance out there by the 5 All-Stars. They get pinned back in their own zone. Can happen to anybody, I guess. Out there for Team Canada right now, and taking the draw is Tippett. Seems like he's always there in those face-offs deep in the zone. Canada again, as Tippett has won it. Has controlled it at center ice. Cleared in by Patrick. Hustling in after it now as Donnelly gets it out in front, or tried to, but it went off a leg, and he took a good hit behind the net by Stельнов. Now Starikov, number 12 for the Soviets. Clears it out to center ice. It's tapped back past Homotov. Starikov again through center ice, intercepted. Lidster, 2 good moves over the line now. Lidster into the corner, tried to roll it in front. Donnelly's there, but he is ridden behind the net. They battle for it back there. That is Dan Wood behind the net. Wood stripped from him by Homotov. Now it's swinging away from a check is Stельнов, number 22. Out to center ice now, reaching for it, Shepelev, but he's failed, and the checking gets very, very close out there right now. Gerasimov over the line, Drozgetsky. Drozgetsky in front of the net, and that time it was Gosselin who stripped it away. Acted as his own defenseman. Out at center ice, Canada trying to hustle over the line. Flatley trying to get loose, unable to. Soviets, they drop it off, and here they come once again with Chumanev at center ice. Dropping it off, Drozgetsky. His shot is wide. Canada with Lowe against the boards. Out to center ice. It's collected out there by Bilялетдинов. Swinging back into his own zone, Первухин. Bilялетдинов on this side now. Number 14. Bilялетдинov through center ice. Gerasimov. The far side, Drozgetsky behind the net now. Koshevnikov tried to get it out in front, and it went right to the far boards and out to center ice. Первухин, number 5. Back the Soviets try to set up in their own zone now. Первухин had his stick knocked out of his hands by Kerry Wilson. Good work, Kerry. Back in over the line now come the Soviets with Koshevnikov shooting it in, and the save again is made by Gosselin. Backhanded out near the line, and Canada breaks out on a 3-on-2. Down to the line now, in front. Wilson dropping it off. Tried to get it there to Driver. Here's Wilson again, moving in. He shot, and he was upended as he went down. He got a shot away, but it hit the Player in front. The period has ended. We've got a 0-0 tie after one period.
Well, Team Canada, the last few shifts, getting back on track.
All right, coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics continues in a moment.
Pontiac 6000 STE, a special touring edition built to take on the world's best. Head of the Pontiac 6000 family of front-wheel drive coupes, sedans, and wagons, among 1984's best-selling mid-size cars. Pontiac builds excitement.
No matter how many of you come to Harvey's, no matter how often or when, your hamburger doesn't start charbroiling until you arrive. It's not preheated and waiting for you in a box. Only you can garnish it to your taste. The Harvey's hamburger. It's made to order and costs very little, and that's gotta be beautiful.
Harvey's makes your hamburger a beautiful thing. IBM introduces PC Junior, a bright little addition to the family. Junior comes with bright computer ideas, like a keyboard that doesn't need a cord. You can get easy-to-use software like word processing, games and graphics your kids won't believe, plus a starting price you won't believe. And with easy-to-add options, Junior can grow up real fast. PC Junior, new from IBM.
Balance. An Olympic gymnastics champion grows up with it, works with it, depends on it. In your personal insurance planning, Crown Life can help strike the right balance between protection and financial growth. Crown Life specializes in helping people achieve the right balance between protection for their family and assets and maximizing their investment potential. Crown Life, official insurer of the Canadian Olympic team.
So, at the end of the first period, Canada holding its own against the Soviets, no score. The 25-year-old captain of the Soviet team is defenseman Vyacheslav Fetisov. He's out there doing his job today, and it's been said of him that he can skate backwards as fast as most defensemen can skate forwards. Ron Roosh has a profile of Fetisov, the defenseman.
This is Moscow in the summertime when the ice is gone. It's a familiar sight, a beautiful one. The bell towers, the familiar expanse of Red Square, and if you're a hockey player, this is the big time, the Soviet Union's Montreal. And the Larry Robinson in town is Vyacheslav Fetisov. At the age of 24, this is a bona fide superstar, and he acts like it. He has that look, even in the summertime. At what he does, he may be best in the world, and what he does is play defense. His teammates call him Slava. He's captain of the Central Red Army and captain of the Soviet national team. When he first came to my attention, he was playing in the World Junior Hockey Championships in 1979 in Montreal against the likes of Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Smith, and Ryan Walter. He was dominant then, and he's dominant now. Like Bobby Orr in the NHL, he's put his own mark on Soviet hockey. Kids growing up now want to play defense like Fetisov.
The fact that they picked me as captain automatically placed a lot of responsibility on me. But it was good responsibility. It's hard to say. The captain should be the face of the team, an example both on the ice and in life for the young kids who are watching and who want to play hockey.
Fetisov is paired with Alexei Kazatov to make up one of the best defensive pairings in the world. And when coaches discuss stymieing the Soviet offense, they always say, stop Fetisov first. It all starts with him.
As a player, he's very, very talented. A talented defenseman. You could say he's a rough player. He'll attack any opponent. He's not afraid of confrontation. Slava even looks for confrontation.
You know, of course, being 24 years old, it's very hard to be serious all the time. Sometimes you just want to be like a kid. You know, do childish things.
Last year at the World Hockey Championships, the tournament all-star team was made up of 6 Soviet players. The star of stars, Vyacheslav Fettisov, defenseman.
Go for more with Sears' great match and win game. Take your ticket to each color-coded area in the store. Scratch, and if you match, you win. And go for it all with Sears Grand Prize Sweepstakes. Win a Viceroy Dream Home, appliances, car, and vacation. Over $1 million in prizes are up for grabs during Sears Match and Win and Grand Prize Sweepstakes. See store for details.
Canada, go for more.
So as a result of that defeat 2-0 by Czechoslovakia over Sweden today, that means that the Soviets and the Czechs are the only 2 undefeated teams in this tournament, Bernie.
Right, Lloyd. Czechoslovakia has now won 6 straight games, and it was a goaltenders' battle between Sweden and Czechoslovakia. Rinderwald of Sweden and Schindel of Czechoslovakia were simply outstanding in the game. It went right down to the final minutes of the third period before the game was decided. Czechoslovakians, Schindel in goal. Here, Arnold Kadlec of Czechoslovakia, Tess Rinderwald of Sweden, and Igor Liba right here in the slot gets a great scoring opportunity. And then Lukács on the breakaway is stopped. Peter Gradin passes to Bo Eriksson, and Schindel makes the save. And that's the type of game it was today at Zetra. Eklund leads a Sweden rush, gave it up. Ruzicka gets a pass to Yuri Hrdina right here. Now you'll see Eklund give up the puck. Czechoslovakia comes back on a 3-on-2. Ruzicka passing to Yuri Hrdina, and he sends it high into the top glove corner. That was the opening goal of the game at the 5-minute mark of the third period. What a play. Eklund giving up the puck. Ruzicka passing to Yuri Hrdina, and Czechoslovakia forward making no mistake, lifting it high past Rinderwald of Sweden. Another look at it. 1-0 at this point for Czechoslovakia. And then with Sweden's goaltender Rinderwald on the bench for the extra attacker, while it was defenseman Bainak who had trouble getting the puck out of his own end. You see the empty net. Now here's the face-off in the Czechoslovakian zone. The puck will come to Bainak right here. He fans on it, gets up. Now watch Bainak move, pick up the loose puck, and he sends it the length of the ice, and that's the clinching goal. 2-0 for Czechoslovakia. Bainak getting the clinching goal for Czechoslovakia, who remains undefeated so far here in the Olympic hockey competition. So Czechoslovakia defeating Sweden by a score of 2-0, the second successive shutout for Schindel. And here's the goal sailing into the yawning net, and Czechoslovakia remains undefeated, and a very entertaining game it was at Zetra today, Lloyd. And it sets the stage, of course, for Sunday, their big confrontation with the Soviet Union.
Sweden's no pushover, obviously.
That's right.
CTV's coverage of the 14th Winter Olympic Games from Sarajevo continues in a moment.
Teamwork, the winning element in pairs figure skating. Your company's a team, too. And to keep it working smoothly, Crown Life will provide group life, health, and pension plans tailored to your special needs. Plans that give you the best possible value for your money. Crown Life has pioneered group plans in Canada. They'll help set up the right plan for your team. Crown Life, official insurer of the Canadian Olympic team.
You take charge, people, taking charge.
So to suit your style, you drive a Chevy Camaro.
Taking charge in your own way. You're taking charge with Chevrolet.
The '84 Chevy Camaro. Fuel-injected sport coupe, high-tech Berlinetta, high-performance Z28, and a down-to-earth Chevy price from only $96.05. Chevy Camaro from $96.05.
Price the way you want to pay. You're taking charge with Chevrolet.
Over the years, your changing fuel needs have caused changes in us.
Morning, Joe. Time for gasoline.
In 1939, Esso introduced their new premium.
Esso Extra, please.
With the post-war car boom, the need for gasoline grew. Then came lower-cost self-serve.
Fill her up. Yes, sir.
Unleaded gasoline.
Premium unleaded, please.
Diesel. And down the road, propane and future fuels. Anticipating your needs makes us better.
You make us better, you do. Esso.
So Canada at the moment holding the mighty Soviets at bay. Bernie, first period highlights.
Well, Lloyd, I think Canada's playing a very disciplined game, but they're under a great deal of pressure. The Soviets are simply awesome, and they had numerous scoring opportunities in the first period of the game, but Mario Gosselin, as he's done all throughout the Olympic Games, has simply been outstanding. Here, Fettisov, a perfect pass to Makarov. Now watch the speedster move in behind the defense. Makarov comes right in, and Mario Gosselin, who has a goals against average of 1.85 in the Olympics, a standout save once again. Makarov set up by Fettisov. Now watch Tumanev from close range. Tumanev, number 28, will move right in front of the net, and Gosselin once again knocks down the backhander. And that's the type of game it's been. Canada's had a couple of good scoring chances. That one by Kerry Wilson. He moved in, had a slap shot right in front of Vladislav Tretьяк and shot wide, unfortunately. But it's been a rather entertaining game. As I mentioned, Canada playing well disciplined, especially in their own zone, under a great deal of pressure. They're right on the Soviets, man for man. Kirk Muller, as Ron and Tom mentioned, is out of this game with a knee problem. Robin Bartel suffered an ankle injury in the first period there. He has not returned to the bench. Bruce Driver blocked that one shot. He was attended to, but then he got back into action in the first period. But they're really hurting defensively, but they're playing outstanding hockey, and let's hope they can keep it up.
Means we have only 4 defensemen working at the moment.
That's right. They have Anderson, who hasn't played a great deal, but he's there as well.
A reminder that on Sunday, Canada and Sweden will be playing, likely for that bronze medal, and we'll have that game for you live on CTV. It will hit Canada at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so pick your own time zone. CTV's coverage will continue in a moment.
We'd like to give you a quick demonstration of the IBM Display Writer office system. It lets you type, edit, and file electronically. It points out misspelled words and the correct alternatives. It can be used as a computer, and it can send information to whoever needs it. The IBM Display Writer helps you get your job done so quickly, it helps you look good.
So the score, if you're just joining in, no score at the end of the first period between Canada and the Soviet Union, but the teams are now about to come on the ice for the second period. We're going to Zetra Olympic Hall and the second period commentary with Ron Roosh and Tom Watt.
Thanks very much, Lloyd. Team Canada just coming onto the ice right now. We're awaiting the Soviets. Some statistical notes on the first period. First of all, only one official statistic. Bruce Driver went off for slashing at 4:23 of that period, and that was it. No score in the hockey game. The shots on goal, the Soviet Union with 11, Canada with 4. Directed at the goal, the Soviets had 21 and Canada 11. So far as face-offs are concerned, Canada won 7, the USSR won 8, and Dave Tippett was especially good in the period. He won 5 and lost 4, and I think he won a few, Tom, very important ones down in the Team Canada end of the ice.
Well, just watching the Canadian team come back out onto the ice, Robin Bartel did not come back out onto the ice, so he has been kept in the room, injuring his ankle on the first shift out there. Driver is back with the hockey club. He had to sit out a few shifts, but they only have 4 regular defensemen that are healthy to continue the game, and that's a big blow, losing Bartel, a good defensive hockey player throughout this tournament.
All right, we'll take a break. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
They learned their stuff on the streets. Sears' most powerful battery, the Die Hard. Warranted 5 years, now $15 off. The French design Road Handler steel belted radial, warranted 80,000 kilometers, now 41% off. 2 great contenders, 1 heavyweight sale. The old 1-2 from Sears.
Well, there you see Bruce Driver, Darren Lowe, and the little guy in the middle. That's Mario Gosselin of Thetford Mines, Quebec. Played junior hockey with the Shawinigan Cataracts. Bruce Driver, who's played very well in this tournament, is from Toronto. Went to university in the States with Wisconsin. Won 2 NCAA titles the last 3 years with that team. An All-American. And a teammate of Pat Flatley at Wisconsin. And Chris Chelios, who played with the U.S. team and is on his way to Montreal to play with the Canadians very shortly. Face-off will be at center ice, and there's the green unit out there once again. Larionov, Krutov, Makarov. Tippett out on the line with Dan Wood and Dave Donnelly. Patrick, along with Craig Redmond, the defense. And from the face-off at center ice, Kazatonoff at center ice. Just moving it ahead for Makarov, who shoots it into the Team Canada end. Redmond in there along with Makarov, and it's Makarov who controls it. Krutov trying to jam it in front, and there's going to be a slashing penalty called, I believe, on Patrick. Trying to break out in front of the net was Krutov, and I think he drew the slash.
Well, Makarov took Redmond into the boards very, very hard, and then coming behind the net, the slash came from Patrick inside his own zone, but it started right in the corner with Makarov doing the forechecking job and Redmond.
So a slashing penalty to James Patrick at 15 seconds of the period, and Canada for the second time will play shorthanded. There is no score in this game, and we are into the second period now. The Soviets did dominate that first period, but Tom, I think the strength of Team Canada has been the sheer work ethic, first of all, and secondly, their ability to play defensive hockey. They have good defensive team hockey coached into them by Dave King.
That's right, and they can play well when the score is even. They can play well when they're ahead. It's tough for them to come from a long way behind.
And from the face-off, it is golfed down the ice. Tippett winning the draw once again. Fetisov back behind his own net now, and here he comes. Big Fetisov to center ice now, leading the rush over the line. Stops up just inside the line, setting up, leads it in. Krutov on the backhand, and Driver got in front of him. Krutov again. Larionov back out to Fetisov. Back to Larionov on the far boards. Krutov in the corner. Back to the point. Fetisov makes the shot, deflected out to center ice by Dave Donnelly, and back to get it is Kazatonoff. In deep. And Donnelly right on top of him. Good job by Donnelly. And now Kazatonoff has to circle away and feeds it up ice for Larionov at center ice. Watch them crisscross here as Krutov comes to the far side. Larionov drops it off for Makarov. Makarov along the boards. Larionov, rink wide. Fetisov's got it near the blue line now. In deep, Makarov. Back to Fetisov. Makarov again. Play tic-tac-toe, and finally it's mishandled at the blue line, and Fetisov is back near his own line, feeds it off a Team Canada player, and Fetisov gets it again from Kazatonoff at center ice. He's over the line, this time coming up the left boards, feeds it around the boards for Krutov on the far side. Krutov backed up against the boards. We've got 38 seconds left in the power play. In deep, and it's Makarov trying to work it in front. Larionov back to Fetisov. Fetisov moving it in front, deflected away again, and out over the line. Canada again clearing it with 25 seconds left in the power play. Makarov over the line, Krutov. Krutov going to the side of the net, trying to roll it out in front. Defense covered up, that was Lidster that time. Makarov circling with it. Rink wide, Fetisov. He's got that big shot, cuts to the slot, then dropped it off, and there's a shot from Kazatonoff, and a rebound went wide as Gosselin made the initial save. Now in against the boards, jamming in there and holding it is Dan Wood, and the penalty is over. Canada has killed it off, and a face-off deep in their end.
Well, that's the second time throughout the whole penalty. There was not one whistle. The Soviets controlled the puck very, very well. Team Canada was able to get one change on the fly, doing a good job forcing them all the time along the boards and forcing them at the point twice. The Soviet point men misplayed the puck, and Team Canada was able to get it back out over the blue line. Good job.
Sergei Shepelev out there. He's from Spartak, one of the few not from the Central Red Army team. They have 12 members from that team playing with the Soviet Union. The puck is jammed against the boards and held there for a face-off.
Well, one of the reasons the Soviets play so very, very well as a team is that their total team, of the total 20 players that are here, 18 of them play for teams in Moscow. 12 of them with Central Red Army Club, and the other two not playing in Moscow or in Gorky. So it doesn't, which is only 100 kilometers away, and so they can bring their club together as a national team almost any time they please to train.
Starikov keeping it in around behind the net. It's Redmond. Redmond, no score in this game now as Redmond works out and just under pressure from Larianov, shoots it out over center ice. Correct that. That was Shepelov moving in on him. Now deep in his own end, that's Stельнов. Stельнов rolling it to the line. Out to center ice comes Homotov, tried to hop over a check. Trailing on the play is Starikov. He fed it back. Shepelov hits the line and it's cleared around behind the net. Gosselin leaving it for Redmond. Redmond. Patrick. To the blue line. Lead pass. Wilson hustling after it. Darren Lowe, number 14. In around the boards, trying to control it deep in the zone, but it's checked away from him. Shepelov loses it then. Good job in there as Flatley backhands it out near the line. The shot and Lowe fanned on it. He saw the net and he just took his eye off it for a moment. Now here comes Wilson. They turn and start up ice again. Wilson over the line with Flatley. They kind of run into each other just inside the line. Now Wilson circles away from his teammate, drops it back to the point. The shot, that's blocked. It's still inside the line. Dineen shooting it into the corner. After it there is Bilялетдинов behind the net. Steering it up along the boards is Первухин. And it's shot out to center ice by Koshevnikov. Deep in his end, driver. Kortnell. Trying to set up near the line. Good move as he ducked away from the checking of Grosjetsky. Kortnell's over the line. It's offside. No score, 3:55. Gone in the second period.
Canadian fans might look at a little difference in style through the neutral zone that Team Canada is employing here today. They're forechecking very aggressively with two deep forwards. But the third forward is always a long way back, almost playing between the two defensemen. And when the Soviets attack through the neutral zone with the puck, there are three men lined up. Instead of just turning and picking up a winger, there are three men lined up across the line through the neutral zone. Three defenders.
Grosjetsky hitting the line, but it's stripped away from him again. They don't get an awful lot of room when they hit the Canadian line. Now circling cross ice with the puck is Koshevnikov, a high scorer in the Soviet Union. He shoots it off a leg. Grosjetsky going in. Out of the net is Gosselin. It bounces, takes a crazy hop off the boards. Dineen gets it, however, and Lidster trailing on the play. Out at center ice, it is cleared into the Soviet zone, and back to get it is Bilялетдинов. He drops it off, and the Soviets regroup in their end and start out. Gemenev just easing the puck out. Now circling back. Gemenev. He's got Первухин on this side, but he gives it straight up ice for Koshevnikov, who circles. Again, they're having trouble as Canada is putting a good pattern on them. There's a shot by Koshevnikov well wide, and it goes all the way around the boards and back down into the Soviet zone where Bilялетдинов has got it. Canada makes a complete change. Bilялетдинov deep in his end, gives it to Fetisov. Fetisov behind his net. Starts out, beats it to Kobin. Kobin at center ice, and he's working down on the wing. Kobin trying to cut through, and he is tied up and double teamed on the play, and it's Patrick who comes away with the puck and drops it off for Redmond. To Patrick. Patrick up on the right wing board, trying to feed it ahead for Donnelly. Back in over the line. Vasiliev, he's got some room, gets in, shoots right on, and the save is made by Gosselin. Mikhail Vasiliev all alone, the best scoring chance of the period. It's icing called as Fetisov touches it inside his own zone. No score. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
My business is unique.
So, for a small computer, I called IBM.
What's your problem, they asked?
Inventory.
Shipping.
Billing.
Cash flow.
Everything.
And IBM helped me find the best solution for now and when I grow.
And they backed it with IBM service.
Am I glad I got an IBM small computer?
I'm delighted.
Play underway. There's a shot wide of the net, deflected. A good wrist shot taken from the blue line by Fetisov. And Canada now. Lidster, rather, can't get out of the zone. Here comes Vasiliev again, moving in front of the net, and fanning on it was Skvortsov. He was alone in front, but I think his stick was lifted just at the last instant. Out near the line now, Skvortsov, number 26. He's pushed off the puck, and it's wristed out to center ice for Team Canada by Donnelly.
He was tackled by Tippett.
Near the line, the Soviets having trouble getting underway now. Kazatona, when that happens, of course, we've seen it over the years. They'll circle back. They are very patient. Out at center ice, Makarov. To the line now. Makarov trying to work for the net, and it is tapped away, but a giveaway inside the zone. Now Larianov to Makarov. He tried to roll it in front. Upended at the side of the net was Krutov. And the puck winds up in the corner with Tippett pinning it in there, the team captain for Canada. And he holds it. We'll get a face-off in the Team Canada end.
Tippett coming off again, blocked one shot late in that shift, and then the first shot, as we said before, he tackled Skvortsov off the edge of the net, playing very well inside his own zone. There we see a Team Canada flag, or Canadian flag, amongst all the other nations that are here, and everybody's getting hyped up. And Canada's a favorite here, kind of a sentimental favorite in the hockey tournament.
Well, the face-off, we've got Wilson out there with Lowe and Flatley now for Canada, and they're going nose-to-nose with the #1 line from the Soviet Union. Here's the shot right on, and Gosselin is there to take it off his chest protector again.
And just watching Kerry Wilson, a little mad at himself. He lost that draw clean. He's talking there inside the circle there with his teammates. But that is not very often it's happened in this tournament that Canada's lost his draw so cleanly inside their own zone. They're pretty good. They've controlled the puck inside their own zone from the face-off circle.
Larianoff, number 11, Wilson, who wins it this time, and it's behind the net. Shoveled off against the boards by Redmond to Wilson. Wilson, number 20, Flatley working up ice, but he fell down just as he crossed center ice, and that's why he didn't get that pass. Now Stельнов behind his net, clears it around, comes to Wilson on the far boards. Checked in against the boards by Makarov, and finally Wilson just elects to shoot it out to center ice, and clearing it right back in again is Craig Redmond. At the side of his net now, it is Stельнов. Out to center ice, Wilson. Wilson hops away from a check. Wilson is circling back now, and he leaves it for Redmond. Redmond ahead for Wilson, and it hit the back of his leg, goes in over the line, but it's onside. Lowe going for the net, and he shot it in the backhand wide. Now against the boards. Out come the Soviets to center ice now. Krutov leading the Russians. He drops it off now, and it's offside as Makarov was in a bit ahead of it. Larianoff, there you see him.
Fans had a great opportunity to see that at the blue line. The three men lined across. The man in the middle was a forward. The two defensemen were at the blue line. The man in the middle was Lowe, who got back as forward. Look at the three of them. 1, 2, 3. Trying to guard that line, forcing the offside, and it's Lowe, not the defenseman standing up at the line, that forced the offside in the Soviets. The Soviets are having a little trouble breaking this three men at the blue line through the neutral zone.
Soviets had 3 shots in this period. Canada 1. Lidster, much better period. Canada seemed to gain some confidence in the last 5 minutes of the first period, and they played much better. Canada meets Sweden in the next game in the medal round. For Canada, it will be the final game of the tournament. You'll see it live on CTV. Note the time, 4 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Breakfast with the Olympics and Olympic hockey. That's Sunday morning, 4 Eastern Time. Canada plays Sweden. An unprecedented day of Olympic coverage coming your way Sunday on CTV. Puck is inside the Soviet end. And here they come. Bilyaletdinov out to center ice now, and it is stripped away. Good defensive job that time by Kevin Dineen, and it's fired right back into the Soviet end. Back to get it is Bilyaletdinov, and it's called on the icing. So we're back into the Team Canada zone for another important face-off.
Well, it was Dineen in the same position as we saw Lowe a moment ago, in between the defensemen that stole that puck in the neutral zone. And the longer the Team Canada can hang in this game, frustrate the Soviets, then the better that we have an opportunity to move ahead. You know, you never can tell a power play opportunity, a goal that gets deflected in. We get ahead. We play well when we're ahead, and we can play well when it's even.
Way underway, back near the line now, circling with that puck is Pierwухin. He shot it in there, and out come Canada now. Courtnall leading the rush with Dineen. Courtnall's over the line, stops up now, waiting for mates to catch up, and there's the trailer on the play, Gagne, but he couldn't get the puck to him, as intercepting it was Shepelev. On the far boards, the Soviets starting out. Homotov with center ice, over the line now. They fight their way through. It's cleared in front of the net. It rolls to the goal post, and Gosselin covers it up. Driver, I think, finally got it behind the net. We'll have another face-off.
Well, you notice that the opportunity didn't come between the defensemen. Now the Soviets, seeing that that middle is blocked up, they're trying to go to the outside. Here you see him breaking around the outside. He took the pass from the defense, trying to put it by Gosselin. Gosselin staying right with him. Of course, at the edge of the net, Team Canada then covering up.
Well, we've got a conference going on now at the Soviet bench. Tyumenev, Kazantonov, along with Drozdetsky, Koshevnikov, and I guess they're just a little concerned about what's going on out there.
I saw during the last shift, too, that Krutov was up talking and making gestures with his hands to Coach Tikhonov and so on. So it seems that they're a little frustrated. They're not quite sure what to do to break this down at the line.
Well, Tyumenev is the centerman on the line. He's out there now with Drozdetsky and Koshevnikov. And a penalty has been called to Driver. Was that delay of the game for behind the net there? I think he So Canada is going to go shorthanded. I didn't even spot the penalty being called, but we are now in a penalty situation for the third time. Hooking is the call against Driver at 8:07 of the period. See how Canada's penalty killing is again. It's been almost letter perfect here. Inside the zone, there's Canada again, and it's cleared down the ice by Craig Redmond. And down to get it is Fetisov. Fetisov, Kazantonov out there. They're the point men. We mentioned the forward line. Catching up is Chumanov as Fetisov goes over the line. Now feeds it in deep, and it's Rostetsky in the corner. Back out to the point. Fetisov rolling it in front. The shot, it hit a leg in front. And working free is Patrick. He starts out, feeds it to center ice. Tippett's got it there, trying to flip it ahead for Wood. And Wood goes into the corner after it. Wood. Kazantonov checking on him, also moving in. They're trying to get the whistle in the other end, and they managed to do it with 1:22 left in the power play advantage for the Soviets.
J.Kompalla saying that it was a Team Canada man that forced the face-off inside the zone. He's bringing the puck outside the zone for the face-off, not having it inside. But Team Canada's done a good job. Very strange penalty call. I didn't see that infraction either, but Canada's taken 3 straight minor penalties in this game. I wonder when the guys in white are going to get one.
Well, we've got Dave Gagne out there to take the draw now against Chumanov. Gagne wins it, flips it inside the Soviet zone, and they'll group behind the net. There they go, crisscrossing around, and out they come now with Rostetsky carrying it, number 13. Rink-wide pass over the line. The Soviets now trying to work it to the boards. Kazantonov back to the point. Koshevnikov's number 29 to Kazantonov once again. Kazantonov. Now Koshevnikov. Koshevnikov circling, looking for that play. Here's Fetisov rolling it in. It hit a skate in front of the net now. Rostetsky. Rostetsky along the board. Just stopped there now. Feeds it out to Fetisov. Had to take it on his backhand. Now sets it up in front for Rostetsky. Hit the heel of his skate. Rostetsky in the corner. Chopped by Patrick, but Rostetsky controls. Now it's chipped away by Patrick, but only to the line where Fetisov has got it. Fetisov over to the far side. Soviet trying to control it, reaching for it, and batting it out to center ice is Donnelly with 25 seconds left in the penalty. Fetisov backing up near the line. Now works up ice. Fetisov working to the line. They're patient. They circle back once again. Chumanov now to the line. Chumanov being hassled as he hits the line by Flatley. Puck comes along the boards. Fetisov rolling it in. Good deflection in front of the net by Koshevnikov, and Gosselin was right there. Now Kazantonov, his shot to the side of the net. Now the penalty is over. Puck is stripped free and cleared away, and is a breakaway. Driver going in all alone, getting set. He shoots. Oh, the save by Tretьяк. Driver out of the penalty box. Out at center ice once again. Back in over the line is Redmond. Flips it up against the boards, and the Soviets regrouping. They've killed another penalty. We're past the midway point of the hockey game. Nothing in this game, and it has been tremendous. Against the boards. Driver pinning it in there. Coven strips him of the puck, moves up along the boards, takes a hit against Darren Lowe, and Wilson to the far side. Redmond to Wilson. Through center ice with some speed. He's through to the line now, stops up against the boards. Wilson dropping it off for Lidster. He clears to the side net. Rolls in, and the chance there for Kerry Wilson, and Tretьяк was right there.
Team Canada, after having Driver come out of the box with that great opportunity, that's what we need in the hockey game. Just deflected off the Soviet defender, and then we come right back, steal the puck inside the zone, and Kerry Wilson gets the good opportunity. So 2 good opportunities after killing a penalty. Team Canada coming back here, and the Soviets look a little flustered. We're coming on.
11:02 gone in the second period. No score. Isn't this great? Gagne about to take the draw against Coven of the Soviet Union. Lidster. Driver out there on the point, and the whistle went on the faceoff. Gagne a little upset at Coven. They push and shove a little bit in the faceoff circle. It was Gagne who was upended by Coven. Kevin Dineen out there on the line with Gagne. On the face-off, Courtnall back to the blue line now. Driver just knocked it down, controlled it, and then shot it behind the net. And the Soviets starting out at Starikov at center ice. Feeds it off for Vasiliev. Vasiliev's over the line, gets bumped up against the boards by Driver. Driver takes another run at him and puts him in against the board. Now around behind the net for the Soviet Union. That's Sportsov out now. Here's the shot, and it lost sight of it. Lose it, but they score. Koven on the rebound. Gosselin lost sight of it, and when he regained the view of it, it was too late. Koven had it on his stick, and he put it up over his shoulder.
Koven was at a bad angle, and Gosselin had made the original stop. Here's the defenseman moving right in from the point, gets everything he can in. You see this foot down. He's trying to get back to it. Koven just gets it. He hasn't got much room, and he just puts it inside the far post after Gosselin had made the first save. He gets his pad on it, sticks it right out. The defenseman comes across, taking the man, and Koven jumps on the rebound and just pushes it by. Too bad for Team Canada falling behind here 1-0.
Face off at center ice. Koven unassisted at 11:31. But it came off a rebound. And here they come once again. Первухин at his own line to Krutov at center ice now. 1-0. As Tippett checks on Krutov. Back for it is Bilялетдинов. Larionov. Bilялетдинов in his zone. Ahead, off the stick of Krutov. But Canada regains control. It's eased over the line by Donnelly. Back out to center ice, Krutov. Первухин. Первухin to the far side for Makarov. Now working to the line. Bilялетдинov shooting it in. Krutov a rink-wide pass. Makarov on the far side. He's checked in against the boards there by Dan Wood. Fed in deep. Around behind the net it comes. Backhand shot off the glove of Gosselin. Krutov with that quickness of his worked out in front. Now rink-wide pass. Первухin moving in. His shot is off a leg. Patrick got in front of that one. Down in the corner goes Dan Wood under checking from Makarov. Now Krutov again. They're starting to buzz around again. Now moving it in is Larionov, but he couldn't get past the last line, which was Patrick. Patrick behind the net. Off the boards, they let it go down the ice. Canada perhaps looking for a change, and it goes right down to Tretьяк. Tretьяк just steers it up to center ice. Canada on the change right now, and hopping it over the line is Gerasimov. His shot is over top of the net. Now along the board, Fetisov steps off the fence. Took a hit from Flatley. Puck remains inside the blue line. Larionov checking. Around behind the net, Driver. For Canada to Lowe. Lowe just risks it past his check as Fetisov was moving in. And got it out to center ice. Kazantonov back over the line for Larionov. Larionov out in front on the backhand, trying to get a shot away was Homotov. Here's the shot that's well wide of the net off the stick of Fetisov. Kazantonov keeps it in. Larionov in front. Great save is made, and Gosselin on that save on Homotov. And it's cleared out to center ice. Back to get it for the Soviet Union is Vyacheslav Fetisov. Moving with the puck at center is Shepelev to the line. It's taken away from him, and out comes Courtnall now. Courtnall to the line with Gagne, and he lost it just as he crossed the line to Fetisov, and it's cleared back into the Team Canada end. Dineen starting out, Kevin Dineen to the line. He's got speed as he stopped inside the blue line, trying to steer it past Fetisov, who seems to be out all night tonight. Back in over the line now. Cutting for the net is Trostetsky. Score! Went off a leg. Koshevnikov may have got it in front of the net. Rushing in was number 13, Nikolai Trostetsky, and the Soviets lead 2-0.
Trostetsky goes outside Redmond. Redmond slips, trying to get to stay with him, and then coming in late is Koshevnikov that gets that pass. He has no room to put the puck, and he throws it in front of the net, and all he has to do is shovel it in the open net. The defenseman trying to get back to pick him up. An easy goal for the Soviet, but Trostetsky was the guy that did all the work, going outside and making the play, getting it in front of the net.
Lidster moving up from the face-off at center ice. Koshevnikov from Trostetsky.
You know, what happens in hockey a lot of time, you think back to the breakaway by Driver when he's all by himself. He gets the opportunity, Tretьяк, and then coming back with an opportunity from Kerry Wilson. And then less than a minute later, the Soviets come back, get their first goal, and then add to that count now.
Lidster shooting it in. At the side of the net now, Starikov feeds it straight up ice. It deflects off the stick of Koshevnikov, and Lidster's got it. Lidster for Canada. Ahead. Over the line, Tippett. Tried to get it to Donnelly. Tippett took a hit against the board from Chiamenev, and the puck is underneath Chiamenev at the boards, and we'll have a face-off about 5 feet inside the blue line. And as the Soviet Union and Canada make a change, there you see Mikhail Vasiliev, number 6, the cousin of one of the great defensemen in Soviet history, Valery Vasiliev. And he's got his number.
But he doesn't play his position.
No, and he plays his position because Mikhail very, very well. And a young coming star for the Soviet team. Gortsov jammed in against the boards flatly. Out to center ice for Darren Lowe. Couldn't control it. Gets it again. And he gets it in over the line. But back there with him is Bilялетдинов. And he manages to get the puck and clear it around for Первухин. Первухin along the boards, but it was not for Vasiliev this time as Canada cleared it in. Patrick now in deep flatly doing a lot of work in there. Cleared to the side of the net. Skvortsov out at center ice for Kobin. Kobin for Vasiliev. Vasiliev cutting across now, and it's chopped away from him as Wilson did the checking job. Vasiliev will try again. Over the line. Redmond on top of him. Behind the net. Vasiliev still fighting off the checking. Skvortsov in the corner. Wilson's on top of him. Along the boards it goes. Back out to the blue line and hopped over the stick of Bilялетдинов, and at center ice Первухин once again. Rink-wide pass. Ahead for Krutov. Good move as he got over the line, ducking past a check from Kevin Dineen. But the Canadians just sent it right back out to center ice again. J.Kompalla, the referee, got in the way of that. Canada maintains possession inside their end. It's Dineen. Tried to get it to Courtnall. Goes all the way down the ice for the Soviets. Number 14 there is Bilялетдинов, and he's checked in against the boards. It's chopped back near the line. Dineen throws a check against the boards and takes possession. Soviets are leading 2-0. We have 3.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Ahead and all the way down into the Team Canada zone. There'll be icing here as Patrick touches it. And the face-off will be back down on the Soviet end. 2-0 Soviets, coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics.
Skyhawk, the small car that's a Buick. Consider its virtues. The comforting fact that electronic scanning assures precision. The satisfying fact that Skyhawk displays generous Buick luxury. The provocative fact that front-wheel drive Skyhawk handles as beautifully as its looks impress. Or consider the one possibly decisive fact that you can have it all in one car.
From the face-off, number 7 for the Soviets is Alexei Kazantonov. He leads the rush himself over the line, and it's just chopped away by Tippett. And Fettisov follows up, and he has a player trapped in Krutov, and so the offside.
Well, now Team Canada's faced with the problem being down 2-0. Do we change our tactics? I see that Tippett was in his usual place, the 3 men along the line, forcing a face-off again. But, you know, that's a very defensive game. Now we're down 2-0. What do? Do you open up? You hope that you get back in the game with a power play goal or like Driver coming out of the penalty box? Or do you continue to play the good, tight defensive hockey that we were playing and we were frustrating the Soviets? What do? Do you stay that way or do you go all out to get the goals? I think at this point, being down 2-0, you continue to play your own game and hope that we'll get back in the game, say a power play goal or getting an opportunity to score one.
Shepelev out there to take the draw against Tippett. Shots on goal, 8-3 in this period for the Soviets. They have an 18-7 margin at this point in the hockey game. And we have 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining here in the second period. 2-0, Soviets lead. Koshevnikov getting the goal from Drozdetsky. Now Stельнов in the corner. Had to get loose. Around the net to Starikov. Starikov starting up on the right wing board, still carrying that puck, splits his way through, he's alone, the save is made again by Gosselin. What a game this kid has had. Now Daigneault is playing up front, he's got a man in front of him, he get it to a Driver, throws it into the crowd in front, but it hit a leg and the Soviets come right back out again. Down over the line for the Soviet Union, Gerasimov. He chases it all the way into the corner. Now after it is Shepelev. Shepelev clearing it in front. It deflects off a stick. Momotov couldn't reach it. Starikov moves in. They go into the boards with Lidster and Starikov jamming there, and it's held for a face-off. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
When IBM personal computer owners look for good software, where can they turn? To IBM for programs that help you keep up with modern times. Business programs, entertainment, productivity, education, and more. The variety you want with the quality you expect in the growing library of IBM personal computer software. A well-balanced selection at a store near you.
Here's Kevin Lowe coming through center ice with the puck, hits the line, then it's Wilson trailing on the play, drops it back near the line. The Soviets hustle right after it. Rozhetsky trying to get loose. Good defensive work there by Lidster as he reached around him and took it away from him. The Soviets from their own line now. Lidster moving up, shoots it in. The Soviets will regroup with Bilялетдинов. Bilялетдинov leaving it off. The lead pass, Rozhetsky. He hits the line, chased out of the play momentarily by Driver, follows it in behind the net. Lowe is in there checking on Rozhetsky, and it's Patrick. Patrick, center ice, the rink-wide pass for Courtnall. Courtnall stopping up against the board, try to clear it in front, and winding up in the net is Gagne. And as he was checked in there, the Soviets start out, having trouble getting out of the netting. Now down over the line, trying to get loose and around the official there was Dvortsov, and Team Canada takes over. Patrick. Ahead for Gagne. He had a man at the line, but he was offside. He got the pass to him, but Courtnall had got a half a step inside the blue line, so the faceoff will be outside the Soviet line.
Well, we saw the Team Canada player trying to get out of the net, and we should remind the fans at home that the nets here are a little different. They don't bind the twine as tight. Here we see the opportunity trying to sneak through here and get the opportunity to go to Tretjak, but the nets are a little different. There's an apron that hangs down because they don't bind the twine as tight in the back of the net, and that hangs down from the roof of the net. And sometimes goaltenders, even if they get too far back in the net, they catch their skates in. And we saw the Team Canada man in the net. His skate was caught. He couldn't get back to back check to get back into his own zone.
Tippett taking the draw at center ice against Koven. Fettisov loses it inside the line and clears it in front now. Here's a chance, and they shot it just wide. Donnelly in front of the net. Lidster now moves in. From behind the net, here's Fettisov, who I have not been impressed with in this game, Tom. He is struggling a little bit. We're used to seeing a lot better from him. Now out near the line, Koven moving in against the boards. Vasiliev, Tippett circling in the corner now. He starts out, lead pass. Donnelly couldn't knock it down. It's back inside the zone, and Kasatonov's got it to Fettisov. Fetisov, a rink-wide pass. Koven over the line. Skvortsov trying to get it in front for Koven, and it's taken away, and Wilson's got it again. Canada continues to check very, very well. We're in the final minute of the period. 23 seconds left as in the corner, Patrick away from the check there from Vasiliev to Wilson. Wilson, time for one more rush here. 13 seconds left. Wilson goes over the line, but he's stopped just as he hit the line by Kasatonov along with Larionov, and Lowe has got it. Lowe, Driver, and with 3 seconds left, he shoots it in and is steered into the corner by Tretjak, and that's the period. And Canada with a situation in the third period where they have to get back a couple of goals, Tom.
We played well defensively, but now we haven't scored a goal in 5 periods. We've got to get on the score sheet here somehow to get back in this hockey game.
2-0 the score. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
The Tiger is back. The Uniroyal Tiger Paw Steel Radial is back with 4 seasons performance. Back to run in the heat and the cold, the dry and the wet, the rain and the snow. Back for 12 months of awesome traction, year upon year. See Uniroyal for the new 12-month Tiger Paw Plus for all seasons steel radials. These are the years of the Tiger.
There's a new force on the streets. Honda's bold new Nighthawk S. With 750 cc's of 4-cylinder fury. And a tight-handling new chassis to challenge the toughest roads. All it takes is you to tame it. Honda, the reason you ride.
Decisions have to be made fast in slalom skiing. Each move has to be timed right, or you're out of the race. In life, too, the turns and twists can be smoothed out with well-timed moves. Crown Life can help you take advantage of life's big changes in direction. Graduation, starting a job, marriage, a growing family. Crown Life can help make sure every turn is a turn in the right direction. Crown Life, official insurer of the Canadian Olympic team.
120 years ago, John Labatt brewed his beer slowly in small batches using 100% barley malt. That's how we brew John Labatt Classic today. Pure beer. It's Kreuzen brewed, one of the longest aged beers in the world. It may cost a little more than ordinary beers, but because of the man, it's brewed without compromise. John Labatt Classic.
So at the end of the second period in Sarajevo, the USSR 2, Canada no score. Along with every Olympic Games, there is a cultural display. Some describe it as the Cultural Olympics. Well, here at the 14th Winter Games in Sarajevo, there is a children's art.
It's a display of children's art from all over the world. The children were asked to illustrate just one word, sport. And it's amazing, because when they can talk without words, when they can talk with just color and line, they all speak the same language. Come on in and you'll see what I mean. Sport, Children, Fine Arts. That's the title of the show. And the subtitle, heavy-handed though it may be, really says it all. The subtitle is Hands of Brotherhood Between Peoples of the World. You know, while the grown-ups talk about the Olympic ideals, the children understand them. They're saying, hey, let's live in peace and friendship, and let's have friendly competitions. That's easy because we're all the same, just people, just children. And nobody understands games better than children. That's why 22,000 children from all over the world sent in their artwork to show us how they see the world of sport. 2,000 of the works were selected for display. And if they weren't grouped country by country, you couldn't even begin to guess which work came from which country. You know, the grown-ups could learn a great deal from the children.
Expresses the Olympic ideal as well as anything can, hands across borders, friendly competition among countries. CTV's coverage of the 14th Winter Olympic Games from Sarajevo continues in a moment.
While Atari keeps trying to sell you new systems, with ColecoVision you only need one system, because ColecoVision expands to give you a Super Action controller set with Super Action Baseball, a driving module with turbo, an expansion module to play all Atari 2600 games, and only ColecoVision expands to become Atom, the complete family computer system. Plus, you get $200 in vacation savings certificates if you buy ColecoVision now. Sorry, Atari.
If an orange says Sun-Kissed on the outside, you can be sure it lives up to its name on the inside. Because Sun-Kissed oranges are sweet, juicy, wholesome, fun, satisfying, tantalizing, lip-smacking, thirst-quenching, inviting, luscious, alive, and bursting with flavor. That's why if you could see inside an orange, you'd buy Sunkissed every time. You have our word on it.
In every corner of the country, there's someone like Tony Thompson trying to get better.
You.
So, for all the Tonys and Michaels and Lindas and Kathys, Esso and its agents and dealers in your area got together with the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association to award Esso Medals of Achievement and sponsor Minor Hockey Week. When you want to get better, we're right behind you.
You make us better, you do. Esso.
IBM introduces PC Junior, a bright little addition to the family. Junior comes with bright computer ideas, like a keyboard that doesn't need a cord. You can get easy-to-use software like word processing, games and graphics your kids won't believe, plus a starting price you won't believe. And with easy-to-add options, Junior can grow up real fast. PC Junior, new from IBM.
Gaetan Boucher from Quebec is now Canada's greatest Olympian. He has labored long and hard in the relative obscurity of the low-profile sport of speed skating. Not a lot of attention in the limelight, like skiers. What it has led to is some frustration along the way.
Frustrating that, like, I won the silver medal in 1980, and I think nobody really remembers that I won the silver. They think about Steve Podborski winning the bronze medal, but they forget about the silver. But that's, I choose speed skating. I could have played hockey, I could have played baseball, I could have been a skier, so I just happened to choose speed skating, and it goes with the sport.
No regrets?
No, no regrets.
As you go into this Olympic Games, do you find any more pressure here than you did in 1980?
A little bit more, because everybody expects me to win, and that's because I've skated so well before. If I had been between 5th and 10th all the time, they wouldn't expect me to win, and you know, there wouldn't be so much pressure, but I made the pressure happen because I skated so well, and that's what I want to do, so I think I can fight the pressure.
As far as medals are concerned, the rumor goes around that Gaetan Boucher says he could win 2 gold. Is that accurate?
I'm aiming for 1, for sure, and I could win the 1500 meter. There's a possibility of having 3 medals as well, but my main goal is to win the 1000 meter.
I'd like to know what is it that keeps you skating, Gaetan? The long hours, the loneliness that you must put in, the frustration of a broken ankle. Just what is it that keeps you going?
Well, I don't know. It's I guess I like the challenge, just go faster and try to be the best. And I still haven't been the best in the world, so that's what keeps me going. And I like skating so much. I like the training, the part of the summer training and all the training camps and all the different people you meet and the traveling and everything else.
Do you find the sudden press attention sort of a little frustrating, annoying at times?
Well, it's a lot of work, and it could be frustrating in the sense that we see the press only just about once every 4 years. I mean, we talk to everybody once every 4 years. We might see 1 or 2 individual every year, but everybody seems to be coming at you when the Olympic Games happen, and we're not doing anything different when it's the Olympic Games than at the World Championship. So why isn't it always like this?
And this picture demonstrates the powerful surge of Gaetan Boucher at the Speed Skating Oval, a watercolor by Ken Danby. And if you would like to bid on this picture, here is the address: Olympic Series, Labatt's Calgary office, 11012 McLeod Trail South, South Centre Executive Tower, Calgary, Alberta, T2J 6A5. All money collected will go into the Olympic Trust to help all of our athletes. We'll be back with highlights of the second period of the game between Canada and the Soviet Union. CTV's coverage of the 14th Winter Games continues in a moment.
Are changing. So is our thinking. Look at GM today.
Shop
Casper's Drug Mart announces an amazing way you can wash your hair, soothe your throat, soften your hands, brush your teeth, shave your beard, scent your body, pamper your baby, relieve your headache, clean your house, and save money. It's called the Red Ticket. It's on all kinds of products, and only one store has it.
Shoppers Drug Mart, we're the one.
I had to admit, Jennifer had gotten under my skin. I had no one to turn to for advice. What I needed was objective professional help. What happened, happened.
Kiss me first.
Kiss you out to spank you.
Oh, please, and pinch me too.
Don't blame them. Blame it on Rio.
Now playing at a theater near you. Check your local newspaper.
Bernie Pascal is back with second period highlights, and Bernie, they're ahead, but they're only ahead by 2 goals.
And that surprises a lot of people, I think, Lloyd. What a great performance by our young Canadian Olympic team, and we all have to be very proud of them. They've held the Soviets just to 2 goals so far in the game. What a scoring opportunity for Bruce Driver as he steps out of the penalty box, and the 21-year-old native of Toronto moves in, and Tretьяк, who has a goals against average and even 1 so far in the Olympics, makes the save. But a glorious scoring opportunity by Driver. Now the Soviets take the lead. The puck comes back to number 22, Stельнов. Mario Goslan makes the save. There's a scramble in front of the net. Goslan is down, then Vladimir Kovan right there gets his 5th goal of the Olympic Games. Unfortunate circumstance for Mario Goslan. He stretched out and he just couldn't reach the loose puck. Drozdetsky and Alexander Kozhnikov also combined on scoring to make it 2-0. Alexander Kozhevnikov getting the goal at 14:19 of that second period, and the Soviets in front of Canada 2-0. Lloyd.
Thank you, Bernie. Well, we'll be back with the third period of the hockey game very shortly. CTV's coverage of the 14th Winter Games from Sarajevo continues in a moment.
Carve that powder into ribbons. This is where the freedom begins now. In parallel lines against the snow. And now we're smiling, yes, we're smiling, blue smiles along with you. Canada, go for more.
They learned their stuff on the streets. Sears' most powerful battery, the Die Hard. Warranted 5 years, now $15 off. The French design Road Handler steel belted radial, warranted 80,000 kilometers, now 41% off. 2 great contenders, 1 heavyweight sale. The old 1-2 from Sears.
We'd like to give you a quick demonstration of the IBM Display Writer Office System. It lets you type, edit, and file electronically. It points out misspelled words and the correct alternatives. It can be used as a computer, and it can send information to whoever needs it. The IBM Display Writer helps you get your job done so quickly, it helps you look good.
There is one more day of hockey after this one in Sarajevo, and this gives you the medal round matchups. There they are, coming for Sunday, February 19th, Sweden versus Canada, and that's at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time live. That means 1 a.m. in Vancouver. So you can simply stay up in there, and you can have an early breakfast if you're in Toronto or East. Then at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll have the Soviet Union playing Czechoslovakia. Canada has a very good chance at a bronze medal, and that will tell, the story will be told in the game with Sweden on Sunday at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here, right now, second period over, the Soviet Union leading Canada by the rather slender score of 2-0. Slender because normally the Soviets can be much further ahead than that. I was talking to Dave King when he left the studio here the other day after an interview with Ron Rouge and wished him well in this game. And he said, what do you mean by well playing against the Soviets? And we replied, well, that means keeping it out of the double digits. It seems they're doing it right now. Let's go back to Zetra Olympic Hall now. The teams are coming on the ice. Tom Watt and Ron Rouge.
Very interesting comment, Lloyd, and you know, that's the fact. The Canadians are keeping it out of the double digits and will, and I think, Tom, as much as anything, I guess the next goal for Team Canada would be to get a goal if they can get a break, but other than that, keep the score down, keep the goals for and against at a decent level, and then set up that bronze medal game for Sunday morning.
Yes, it's a tough decision if you want to open up against the Soviets to try to get back in the game, you're taking the risk of going end-to-end with a team that's masters at it. If you'll recall the last game of the Canada Cup, in the last series that we had, we were down in the game 3-1. We were in it, and then all of a sudden we opened up, we started pressing down, and then the Soviets started going end-to-end, and the score ends up 8-1. And you have to be careful that you don't end up and go end-to-end with a team like the Soviets. I think that they're much better to play their own style. Canada, play your own game. Don't go and play their game. Play the tight defensive game. Hope you get the break to get back in the hockey game. And if you don't, certainly we're keeping the goals against down, and that may have a bearing on what happens down the line as far as medals.
Well, they gathered around Vladislav Tretьяк. I'd like to bring something to everybody's attention. This Soviet team, you talk about dynasties, the Montreal Canadiens dynasty, the Boston Celtics dynasty, and the National Basketball Association. How about this one? The Soviet Union, including the 1964 Olympics at Innsbruck, through this tournament to this very moment, have won 34, lost just 2, and tied 1. So that means they've won 34 of the 37 Olympic hockey games that they have played. Interestingly enough, of course, through that span, they have lost the gold medal. They lost only one game in the 1980 Olympics. People forget that, and that was the 4-3 loss to the Soviet Union, which forced them into a silver medal position. They're undefeated through this tournament. They were undefeated through the 1968 tournament, undefeated through the 64 tournament as well. In 76, they were undefeated 5-0. Well, we're underway here in the third period. Canada is trailing by just 2-0. We'll see what happens as Krutov shoots it in, deflected into the corner by Gosselin. Larionov in there, number 11 clears it in front. There's Krutov, but he couldn't get the shot away. Craig Redmond along the boards, and he clears it down the ice, and back to get it will be Fetisov. In there also is Wood, but Fetisov touches it at the 34-second mark of the third period. We'll have a face-off on the Team Canada end. As you see, Vyacheslav Fetisov, one of the great players, maybe the best defenseman, Tom, in the world today, certainly ranking.
Yes, but both he and his partner, Kazatnov, have had a little problem today when they've had the puck at the point with the man advantage. They haven't handled it all that well while the Soviets have been on the power play.
Now from the face-off, digging it loose, working away from a check. As Darren Lowe gets it to the line, but not out, as just backhanding it in there is Shepelev to the side of the net. The player goes down back of that net. That was Lidster under some checking. Now Lidster's on his feet, picks up the puck, goes to the corner under a great deal of checking pressure, and he left it behind. He's out at center ice with the puck, backhands it into the corner. Flatley moving in. Flatley takes a good hit behind the net from Stельнов to the side of the net. The Soviets starting off with Starikov out to center ice, and it's deflected down into the Canadian zone by Homotov. Wilson, Gary Wilson, Canada's top scorer in this tournament, feeds it off for Darren Lowe. It was just ahead of him. Starikov collects it inside his own blue line at center ice. The Soviet moving in now, trying to get loose as he got in there. Took a bit of a hook with Stельнов. Now Lidster. Lidster being checked. Trying to control it against the boards, and he holds it there, and we'll have a face-off. There is Krutov sitting on the bench. The guy that Bob Gainey says he thinks is the best hockey player on this team. The Soviet Union, he likes his desire especially. That's from a fellow that was once called by a Soviet coach the best hockey player in the world.
Well, we saw Stельнов being hooked deep in the zone, and one of the things the Soviet defensemen do very, very well is they're not afraid to move up in the play. They attack with all 5 players, the forwards and the defensemen.
Near the line now, and he put himself offside, did Bilялетdinov, and with that, they'll bring the face-off outside the blue line. Well, the Soviet Union, as you see Kevin Dineen, and what a rough new year he has had. He has got a shoulder that is going to have to be operated on, and there's Darren Lowe. He's had his own problems here. He took a whack across the mouth in the game the other night. Game against Czechoslovakia, and now he's wearing a face guard. Now the Soviets grouping in their own zone with Первухин. Back for Bilялетдинов. He starts out in a bad pass out over center ice, intended for Drozdetsky. Dainin just brings it right back in. It's clear to the side of the net. Kortnell's in there. Kortnell trying to get it in front. There's nobody there, and Drozdetsky picks it up and shoots it out to center ice. Soviets on the move now. Down over the line comes Koshevnikov, trying to get it in front. And on the far boards, Patrick out to center ice now. In over the line comes Gagne, stick handling, but unable to get around the man as Bilялетdinov moves in on him. Drozdetsky's there as well, and he's got it. Number 13, Drozdetsky, out to center ice. Feeds it off on the wing. Over the line they come. Chumanev trying to get set. Up against the board. Set. Fires it behind the net. Drozdetsky didn't see it coming. And working through some traffic as driver, and he gets the pass out to center ice. It goes right by Kortnell and down inside the Soviet zone. 2-0. The Soviets are leading. Canada would like to get the next goal in this game. Make it tough. Here comes Koshevnikov. The lead pass for Koven. In over the line, driver on top of him, and he just throws him up against the boards. The driver's got a lot of strength. Off the boards and out to center ice, but it goes by everybody, and Kazantonov. Rink-wide pass. Vasiliev dropping it back, hustling into the corner. With the puck is Shepelev. Clears it to the point. Kazantonov again. Trying to get it in along the boards. It's intercepted, and Donnelly backhands it off the boards and out to center ice, and Koven's got it inside his own blue line. Fetisov. Ahead for Koven. Didn't see it coming. Gets it again. From Sportsov. Over the line comes Koven. Koven cleared it in front. It went off Craig Redmond's stick. Koven chasing it around the boards. Back out to the point. It comes. It's just deflected out to center ice by Donnelly. It gets a good pass away. Daigneault moving up after it. Daigneault against the boards. Trying to feed it back to Tippett, who was the trailer on the play, but Koven took over. Koven over the line. Being chased by Redmond. Koven behind the net. Redmond takes him out of the play, and it's now Patrick on the far board. Patrick still with that puck as he hits the line. Good move, and he has to chase the puck in against the boards. Moving in with him is Sportsov, and it's cleared out to center ice once again. Canada with driver inside his own blue line. Tippett collects it off the boards. Crosses center ice inside the Soviet zone, and a giveaway by Fetisov, and the shot was taken by Tippett. Tretjak forced to make the save. Fetisov. We mentioned Fetisov not having one of his best nights tonight. Kazantonov. To the far side, out to center ice comes Makarov. Makarov to Krutov. Krutov over the line now trying to cut through the defense, and there's driver again. What a game he has had, and we are going to get a penalty called. Soviets leading 2-0. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
Over the years, your changing fuel needs have caused changes in us.
Morning, Joe. Time for gasoline.
In 1939, Esso introduced their new premium.
Esso Extra, please.
With the post-war car boom, the need for gasoline grew. Then came lower-cost self-serve.
Fill her up.
Yes, sir.
Unleaded gasoline.
Premium unleaded, please.
Diesel. And down the road, propane and future fuels. Anticipating your needs makes us better.
You make us better, you do. Esso.
Well, Canada's got all the penalties in this hockey game, all the kind of minor stuff. This is called slashing to Wilson, as you see Larionov, one of the Soviet players who speak pretty fluent English. It's inside the blue line. Cleared out to center ice. The penalty called at 4:30. Wilson off for slashing. It looked more like a hook to me, looking at the replay, but there was a penalty to be sure. Here's Makarov on the far side, cleared around the boards. Larionov against the boards on this side. Tried to roll it in front, cutting across his wood. Cleared it out of harm's way against the boards. Now it's golfed down the ice as driver again is right there. Soviets setting up in their own zone. Starikov. Watch the circling. Larionov at center ice now. Their power play has not shown us much so far tonight. Krutov tried to bull his way through, and it's cleared down the ice by driver again. How many times have I mentioned the name driver in this hockey game? As they come, and he's had a lot of pressure on him. The defense is kind of undermanned as they've lost Robin Bartel and did in the second shift of the game. There it is, cleared down the ice again. Now Patrick comes off the bench to join Redmond on the defense. Krutov comes up the right wing boards. Krutov Stops up against the boards. Back to the point. Kept in by Kazanov to Krutov. Krutov with Makarov in the corner, but he'll elect to go to the point. Kazanov taps it back. There's a good rink-wide pass for Fetisov. Fetisov moving in, clears it in front, and all alone there was Krutov, but he couldn't contain the pass. Krutov cutting in front, and it deflected off Donnelly's stick, I think, and out to center ice, and Fetisov will have to go back into the Soviet zone to get it. Now the lead pass. Trying to get loose is Homutov, but he took a check from Patrick, who stood up on the play, and is golfed back down the ice once again. 6:03 gone in the period, 25 seconds remaining in the power play. Federal Republic of Germany is leading Finland 7-4 in the third period. The Finns have had their problems in this tournament. That is now a final score, I'm told. Moving in is Shepelev. Shepelev to the side of the net. Back out for Shepelev, but he was unable to get it as it went off a leg. Gerasimov over to Fetisov. The shot, big save made. Gosselin on his knees, and it winds up in the corner. Patrick will hold it in there, and we'll have a face-off as the power play ends.
Well, we've always said throughout this tournament that Team Canada has really shown a gutsy effort throughout it, that they've shown grit and determination. Drivers has typified that. We see him on the screen. And these young players, that's a very general statement. But I'll tell you, in this hockey game, the Soviets are playing with 4 lines that are well-conditioned. They're playing with 3 sets of defensemen. They go out every 45, 50 seconds. They keep the game at a tremendous pace. Canada, through injury and short, today 2 players, Muller and Bartel, early in the game. They're going with 3 lines and 4 defensemen, and that's what courage means. They're holding the Soviet team, and they're just going on adrenaline because attrition will set in as far as conditioning is concerned. They're doing it through hustle, drive, and determination.
Well, this is a team, the Soviet team, may I say, that has to go into the Canada Cup next year as the favorite to beat the NHL All-Stars. They are the defending Canada Cup champions. Here is a team of 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds who are step to step with them and doing a great job defensively. This is the story of this hockey game. In against the boards, around behind the net. Driver is back after it and against the boards again, and he has really used his weight to great advantage here as Drozdetsky clears it to the line, and it's down the ice. Bilялетdinov is back. Well, you're watching something here as these kids are giving it everything. Now Chumanev clearing it in, going to the backhand is Koshevnikov. Tries to roll it out in front on the short side. Down goes Gosselin. A scramble in front. The loose puck is picked up and carried into the corner. Back out to the point. Bilялетdinov. Denis, at least it's collected by Redmond, and he shoots it down the ice. And after it on this icing will be Первухин. It's called, and there will be a face-off at the Team Canada end. It's still 2-0. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
S15, GMC's member of Canada's best-selling family of compact trucks that outsells anybody else. Try and find better quality anywhere. Take one out and enjoy. It makes truck driving a new outdoor sport. Offering a range of models, gas or diesel, you just cannot beat. S15. Tough trucks are what we're all about.
From the face-off, Starikov at the blue line. Big save again by Gosselin as he got his pad on it. Saw it at the last instant. The puck winds up in the corner. Boy, the quick whistle there as they go in. And the face-off will be off to Gosselin's right.
Well, we've had some hard checks into the boards. We saw Driver taking the Soviet player. We saw James Patrick there, and Flatley was taking him very, very hard early in this period by Stельнов. So we're seeing some tough checking as well as some tight defensive hockey.
Chumanev, Drozdetsky, Homutov, number 15 on the bench. A little further down, number 13 is Drozdetsky, but there's Koven. Koven, as we mentioned, made his debut in the Canada Cup in 1976. Played in the Challenge Cup in 1979, but this is his first World or Olympic tournament. It's interesting that he would get the assignment in those 2 tournaments, but not against the opposition in World or Olympic competition. Starikov feeding it ahead. Koven knocked it out of midair. Koven backing away from some checking there. His counterpart, Ron Karpin. The pass goes to Stельнов. Stельнov to the line, and he is chased out of the play. Good check by Donnelly, who came back on him. He lost his stick on the play, and Canada clears the puck down the ice again. We're at the 8:24 mark of the third period. Soviets leading 2-0. Shots on goal in this period. The Soviets have 3. Canada 1, so that is now 23-8. Soviets have had the shots, but the Canadians have had good goaltending as the puck hops up over the boards. And we look at Vladimir Krutov, number 9. Memorable for fans, I guess, of Team Canada. That last game of the Canada Cup when he put the move on Guy Lafleur and scored a shorthanded goal. Guy Lafleur has not had "how do you do" said to him like that in a long time.
Well, this line of Krutov, Larionov, and Makarov, all of them are young hockey players, and they can all handle the puck. They've all got speed, and they've all got moves.
Puck is cleared in past Fetisov, and Kazanov is back to get it now. 2-0. Out to center ice comes Larionov. Larionov over the line, drops it off. Nice play, but Krutov then trying to get it ahead to Makarov, and Makarov wind up sliding in against the boards on this side as Lidster gets it to Patrick. Patrick trying to get out of the zone, has to handle it inside the zone, and finally it's shoveled out to center ice by Lidster. Over the line, Lowe, Darren Lowe. Now for Kerry Wilson. Wilson couldn't control it. And at center ice once again, and Krutov in over the line now, and he just rolled it in. And covering up will be Gosselin. He holds on. 9:18 gone in the period. And we're in the third period here at Zetra. The Soviets leading 2-0.
Well, Krutov there went right through the crease, and they're still getting their sticks up there late. Krutov went through the crease and tried to get the puck out from under Gosselin's hand. Goslin realized that his club needed a change, and he killed the puck. Held it for the face-off inside his own zone.
So the face-off deep inside the zone. This has to be a little bit of concern, Tom. Canada has not scored a goal in 111 minutes, but then again, Sweden, who Canada will be taking on Sunday, scored only 1 goal against the Soviets.
I was going to say
late
that.
In the game.
Yes, they've only scored 1, so neither team has really been a great offensive machine.
Czechoslovakia, by the way, have not allowed a goal in 7 straight periods. So they continue to play very, very well, and that sets the stage for a tremendous gold medal game, all things being equal, on Sunday. And you'll see it live. You'll see the Canada game also at 4 a.m. on Sunday. That's a first. 4 a.m. Canada versus Sweden, Eastern Time, live on the CTV network. Out comes Canada now. Carrying the puck is Gagne ahead for Courtnall. Courtnall trying to drop it off. Gagne was trailing. Courtnall gets it again. Sets up. Drops it back to the blue line. Went right through Patrick's legs. Way out of the net comes Gosselin. He'll try to shovel it out to center ice. And he doesn't do that, but the puck winds up against the boards anyway, and out at center ice as Shepard put it back himself. Here comes Courtnall. Ducks away from a check, but they got enough of a piece of him, Bilялетдинов did, that he takes control of the puck, and that line heads for the Team Canada bench. Rostetsky, number 13. Here he comes. Up on the left boards. At center ice, the pass for Chumanev. Chumanev cutting for that. Rostetsky in front, and it rolls wide of the net. Into the corner it goes. Koshepnikov. Rostetsky out in front with some room, and he shot it wide. I think it hit a leg. Now again out in front. Rostetsky, and again he is checked on the play by Lidster. In against the boards. Rostetsky and Lidster, and they hold it in there. Chumanev moves in as well, and we'll have a face-off. It's 2-0 Soviets. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
When IBM personal computer owners look for good software, where can they turn? To IBM for programs that help you keep up with modern times. Business programs, entertainment, productivity, education, and more. The variety you want with the quality you expect in the growing library of IBM personal computer software. A well-balanced selection at a store near you.
This is Ron Roosh along with Tom Watt at the Zetro Hall in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia. Canada versus the Soviets, and it is a tight hockey game, 2-0. Kovin has scored for the Soviets. Koshepnikov as well for Kovin, his 5th goal of the tournament. Koshepnikov's 3rd. And Canada continues to play so well defensively, and they are protecting that very, very important area of the statistics sheet as it's rolled in front by Rostetsky, and that is the goals for and against. If it comes down to that, Canada, if they can keep this down, will be in a good shape to play a tie against Sweden and win the bronze medal. Up in over the line now. Number 28 is Chumanev around the boards. Clears it back to the point. It's golfed in there, but blocked by Tippett in front of the net. Back out at center ice once again, and that's Chumanev. Timonov loses it. Donnelly's back into his own zone. Ahead now. And Team Canada with Flatley. Flatley stopped up against the boards. Flatley had it stripped away from him and is cleared out to center ice by Koshevnikov. Redmond. Redmond moving out now ahead. Darren Lowe. Here's the Lowe hitting the line. Tried to get it over for Wilson, and it was just taken away by Skvortsov. Soviets again. Starikov, Skvortsov. They got all messed up inside the line, but Flatley couldn't get on it quickly enough. Now ahead, Vasilyev unable to get loose. Team Canada again out at center ice. And the backhand pass by Patrick. Cleared into the Soviet zone. Wilson in there after Starikov. It's cleared along the boards. A rink-wide pass. Skvortsov at center ice now, hitting the line. Skvortsov trying to get around the defense. Knocked off balance by Driver. And the pass goes harmlessly to the far board. Flatley ahead, knocked down by Kazanov. Koven's there, back to Kazanov. Here he comes, out to center ice. The lead pass went off. Number 19, Dave Gagne. Courtnall's inside his own zone, and here he comes once again. Courtnall to the line. Courtnall trying to pull through, trailing is Gagne. Gagne flipping it out, a bouncing puck in front of the net. As reaching for it there was Kazanov. Sends a lead pass out. That's intercepted. Canada waits for Mates to get onside, and offside on the far side was Courtnall, I believe, or was that Dineen? I think it was Dineen, and he protested, but I believe he might have been a half a stride.
You saw him gritting his teeth there, and then he's talking as he's going off, talking to that linesman. He thought he was in there having the opportunity at the blue line, but we've seen throughout this whole tournament. We're going to get a look at it. Well, it's hard. We don't see both skates. You know, if he has one skate on the line, he's all right, you see. But the linesmen here throughout the tournament, if it's anywhere close at the blue line, they call it dead. They don't want to be accused of allowing a goal to be scored when it was offside. So anywhere close to an offside, they're blowing it down.
From the face-off, certainly we don't have too many complaints about officiating in this hockey game. They have done the job. Krutov at center ice now. Krutov down over the line. He's got that great speed. Hustles in and then shot it right off the stick handle, and he just shot it wide. Now out to center ice it comes once again. Donnelly. And it comes back to Fetisov. Fetisov clearing it in. Krutov cutting across the line. It's called on the offside, and the face-off outside the blue line. Well, CTV is the place for Olympic coverage this weekend, to be sure. Tomorrow we have the ladies' final in the Olympic figure skating competition in the evening. And highlights of the 90-meter ski jumping, plus lots more in the afternoon. So join us for the final weekend here at the 14th Olympic Winter Games. And again, we remind you that Canada will be going for the bronze medal on Sunday morning, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. That's 4 a.m. Eastern on the CTV network. You'll see it live, followed by what we expect will be the gold medal game between the Soviet Union and Czechoslovakia. You'll see both games live here on CTV. So plan your time. You're on the West Coast, I guess you stay up. 1 a.m. And are we going to have jet lag when we get home, Tom? Back in over the line now, especially Bernie, who has to go to the West Coast. There are the Soviets starting out with Bilялетdinov. Inside the line now, Kerry Wilson knocked down. Wilson, rink-wide pass. And there's going to be a penalty to the Soviets as Canada starts out. Here's Darren Lowe out to Wilson, and a two-line pass to the offside pass. And for the first time in the hockey game, with Soviets leading 2-0, Canada will go on a power play. It's 2-0 Soviets. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics. Continue in a moment.
I'm moving out of here, cutting up with some good times a long, long way from here. Me and the boys in our 50. Me and the boys in our beer.
Smooth, easy drinking 50.
Moving.
What a beer to share.
Alexander Gerasimov is off for interference at 14:26. Canada, for the first time in this hockey game, will have a power play. They played shorthanded a total of 4 times and killed it off successfully each time. Well, we'll see what happens here. Canada trailing by 2. Lidster Dropping it off for Driver. Driver has been, I think, Tom Canada's best player in this game. You can argue that one if you want, but here comes Soviets back in now in a shorthanded situation. They score! Dvortsov on the backhand. A shorthanded goal. It's 3-0.
Well, Team Canada was guilty of bringing the puck out and just making a very, very soft flip pass outside of their own zone. The Soviet defender gloved it, set it down, and then threw it ahead immediately, and it resulted in a shorthanded goal. Here we see, after the pass from the defender, cutting across in front of the net, trying to get back, makes the move across on the backhand. Too bad for Team Canada. Great move by the Soviets. Canada guilty of a bad clearing pass when they had the man advantage.
Well, here we go again. Driver getting the puck inside his own line. Wilson, 3-0 Soviets. A shorthanded goal scored on them. The Soviets can jump all over you. You make the mistake. Over the line now, Flatley along the boards, clears it in front. Wilson shot. Big save by Tretjak, who got the inside of his pad on it.
Well, the net, too, jumping off. I mean, Tretjak made a great save and was shot all in one motion as the puck came across. But moving back, the net goes off, and Team Canada might have been able to have another opportunity when Tretjak had to be extended to make that stop on the quick shot from the side of the net. Just kicked the net right off and making the stop. And again, as we've seen so often in the tournament, the play is killed. But Team Canada might have got an opportunity after that because Tretjak was down after making the big stop.
That was an unassisted goal by Dvortsov at 14:41. Puck is cleared to center ice. 3-0 Soviets. Canada still on the power play. 1:14 left in that. And it's James Patrick out to center ice for Canada. Ahead now over the line. Flatley trailing on the play is Wilson. Wilson through the traffic now. Into the corner he goes. Still with that puck as he clears it towards the line, but he can't get it back to Patrick. Now he does. Kept inside the line. Good job there by Donnelly, who starts to move in, gets set, and he's hooked from behind by Vasiliev. Soviets start out. Fetisov at center ice. And he circles back. 47 seconds left in the power play. Kazantonov as Donnelly forechecks. Kazantonov gets it again from Fetisov. Cleared to center ice. Team Canada gate is open as the puck is cleared into the Team Canada end. And they make a change. Courtnall, Gagne. Gagne over the line. Fetisov ducking away from a check now. Clears it through center ice. And back to get it is Daigneault with 18 seconds left in the power play. So the Soviets get the Canadians hemmed in a bit. Rink-wide pass. After it is Первухин. He's checked. Now Daigneault. Ahead comes Lidster at center ice. Gagne fakes the shot. And then he, in trying to let the pass go to Courtnall, didn't get good wood on the pass. And so now the Soviets come right back again. Gerasimov. He is checked. He's out of the penalty box now. Gagne back inside his own zone. He starts out 3-0. Soviets leading the lead pass now. Karpin comes over the line. Fresh legs on the ice. Karpin into the corner after it. He's pinned by Первухин, and it's held in there, and we hold for a face-off. So there you see Courtnall, of course, on his way to the Toronto Maple Leafs, I would imagine, after this. A first-round draft pick last year. Played in Victoria, played on the World Junior Championships. We've got 3 minutes and 5 seconds left in this hockey game. Canada, as the puck rolls in, did it get in? Did it get in? Yes, it did. The light's on. It was mishandled at the side of the net, and it got by Gosselin. Well, I'd like to see a replay on that to see what happened, but I think Rozhetsky is going to get credit for it.
Well, Warren Anderson, who was on the ice for the first time, carried it right into his own net. Here he is. He's moving back. You see Gosselin, who didn't expect him. He expected him to go to the side of the net, and it goes right underneath the goaltender into the net. But Team Canada, too bad for Warren Anderson. The first time he's been on the ice tonight, late in the hockey game, brings it underneath his own goaltender.
Rozhetsky will get credit for it. From the face-off, back come the Soviets. 4-0 is the score. Soviets leading. Back inside the line now, Starikov. Starikov ahead. Team Canada will be playing Sweden for the bronze medal on Sunday. Tippett along the boards. That should be a tremendous hockey game. Chumanev to the far side. And the Soviets move up. Canada looking for its first bronze medal first medal of any sort. There's a tackle thrown inside the blue line. I think the referee's going to let it go. Canada's not won a medal. Here's Grosjetski circling inside the zone again. Clears to the point. The shot comes in from Stельнов. And it winds up in the corner. And we're going to get a couple of players tossed here by J.Компалла as driver is involved, or Lidster rather, number 4.
Well, Team Canada are a tired bunch right now. I noticed on the last shift that we had Darren Lowe and Flatley, and we had Kerry Wilson out there, and they're a group that's been skating throughout this tournament. They had difficulty getting back to the bench. It's a tired group. They've given their all. They've faced a team tonight that's in great condition, that's used their whole bench. And Team Canada trying to get on the score sheet here. We're using only the 3 lines and 4 defensemen after injury. It's a tough thing to do, and they're just hanging in here now, trying to get through this hockey game, keep the goals against down as low as it possibly can, going into that last game with Sweden for the bronze medal.
So it'll be Wood off for Canada, Stельнов off for the Soviet Union. 4 against 4, 4 skaters to 4. As the puck is in the corner, Redmond cutting in front of his own net. He's a great skater, brings it out to the blue line to center ice now. Redmond working to the line and then flips it in and chases it himself. Comes to the side of the net. Flatley. Canada with a little skating room out there right now. Flatley mishandled the puck, got it back, shot it right in there. Good effort by Flatley as he got that shot away. Kazanov behind the net. Coming back to help out is Krutov, and he'll get the pass. One hands it out to center ice. Krutov to Larionov. He's over the line. Larionov moving in. He's got great moves, and he made 2 of them, but then the puck was taken away from him by Redmond. Out comes Kerry Wilson. Wilson had it taken away from him by Larionov. Out driver around behind the net. Out to center ice it comes. Kazanov. Larionov. Back to Fettisov. Kazanov. Swinging through his own zone to center ice. Kazanov, number 7, to the line. Chased by Patrick. Kazanov trying to roll it in front, and right there to collect that puck and take it out of harm's way for Canada is Dave Donnelly. He's at center ice. Donnelly trying to shuffle his way through Kazanov. He's taken out of the play. Fettisov then sends it to center ice. Larionov, Fettisov going for the net. Here's the shot. And Fettisov looking for the deflection. We're in the final minute of play here. Out at center ice now, racing after it and tipping it ahead and moving in now is Gagne on the backhand, and he shot it wide. Gagne with a great chance. We've got 36 seconds left in the hockey game, and Gagne took a crack across the head. Donnelly taking exception. We've got a little pushing and shoving involving Dineen and Fettisov. Gagne and Fettisov there.
Well, Fettisov should get a 5-minute major penalty here. He just took a stick right across the face of the Team Canada player. There it is, right across the shoulder and the side of the head. I mean, whether you hurt the man or not, in the rule book, that's a deliberate attempt to injure, and that's 5-minute penalty and out of the game in international hockey. But there was no question about it. He just took a stick and gave it to Gagne.
Well, we have to say also he took a crack to start it all, and we'll see what they do here, the way they deal this one. Canada and the Soviet Union each playing a man short at this particular point. Well, there's some discussion going on down there. Not too happy. That's Krutov there. Fetisov and Gagne were the main combatants in all of this. Tippett's trying to sort it out. The 2 captains are out there. Homotov, number 15 for the Soviets. Grosjetski, got a good little mob scene out there. Very little of anything happening. Kevin Dineen. So let's just see what the referee, Josef J.Kompalla of West Germany, will do about this.
Well, he's got Tippett at the edge of the circle trying to find out what the calls are. You see the players standing around outside the circle. They can't go in the circle. The official is over at the scorer's table making the call now.
Must say something about Fetisov. They boo him in the Soviet Union. They boo him because he plays, of course, for the Central Red Army, who have played in their own league 25 games and won them all. But they also boo him because he's considered a bit of a bully in his league. Now, what in the world? Dineen is getting, they're going to get he's just going to toss the 2 of them. Fetisov is going off as well. So not only is he a superstar, but he is also a tough guy. And there's our tough guy sitting down right now.
Well, in my
Kevin
opinion,
Dineen is not a tough guy, but he's going in too.
In my opinion, that's a major penalty for deliberately trying to injure the man, and it doesn't matter whether you do or not. The rule book says if you deliberately try to injure the man with your stick, and he took his stick and hit Gagne right over the side of the shoulder and the side of the head, and with his team ahead 4-0, that was uncalled for at that point. That's a 5-minute major penalty.
They have given 4 minutes, so a double minor has gone out. You very seldom see a major penalty called in international hockey. They would prefer, because a major penalty is an ejection, they prefer to throw a double penalty at you. Now, what this is going to do for the manpower when we've only got 33 seconds left in the hockey game is they play 3 against 3. 3 skaters to 3 for the final moments. Tippett out there now, along with Patrick and Lidster at the blue line. From the face-off, taken for the Soviets by Первухин. He just stops behind his net now. 25 seconds left. Starting out is Chumanev. He shoots it down into the Team Canada end. Lidster will touch it, and with 18 seconds left, we'll get a face-off inside the Soviet end. There's Lidster. And steady. He's from Kamloops, British Columbia. Played university hockey at Colorado College. That was 7th round draft choice of the Vancouver Canucks in 1980. As I say, we've got some people here who can play for this Team Canada, young players. Here's Первухин. Первухin working on a 2-on-1 now, gets it back, shoots it, and the skate save is made by Gosselin with 7 seconds left in the hockey game. Out comes Tippett. Tippett trying to move it ahead, and he can't get over the line as he is taken out of the play by Bilялетdinov, and that's the hockey game. And the Soviet Union has defeated Canada by a score of 4-0. And Tom, all things considered, you have to think the Team Canada gave it 100%, gave it everything they could possibly give. And in the end, 4-0 is a pretty good result.
Well, not only that, what they have done is going into the final game against Sweden, it does give Team Canada an edge when they're playing Sweden in that game on Sunday. If we tie or win that game, we get the bronze medal. A tie gives us the medal because the goal differentiation now, Canada is -8, Sweden is -11 in the series. So what happens is a win or a tie for Canada against Sweden will give us the bronze medal, and it sets up the final game between Czechoslovakia and the Soviet Union, who will play for the gold medal in the second game on Sunday afternoon.
Final shots on goal. The Soviets outshot Canada 26-10, 6-3 in the third period. The final score, 4-0. Koven, Koshevnikov, Sportsov, and Drozhetsky scoring the goals. Canada loses 4-0. Stand by, of course. We're going to have Sweden against Canada live on Sunday. From the Zetra, this is Ron Rush along with Tom Watt. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.
You've got to be good to get to the Olympics. Life Brand Vitamins, an official supplier of vitamins to Canada's Olympic teams, and only one store has them.
Shoppers Drug Mart, you take charge, people.
Taking charge with Canada's lowest price compact, $71.47. 84 Chevy Citation 2. Citation 2, the versatile front drive with small car fuel economy. Big car room for cargo or a crowd. All for a price that's really down-to-earth Chevrolet. Canada's lowest for a compact, $71.47. 84 Chevy Citation 2. For a limited time, it even comes with a GM security blanket, the 3-year continuous protection plan at no extra cost.
Look what's happened to Mars Bar. It's bigger, and now it's the biggest Mars Bar ever. Mars Bar has the goodness of milk, glucose, sugar, and a thick, chocolatey coating for a Mars Bar that's bigger than ever before. Tremendous value, really substantial, and now the biggest Mars Bar ever.
A Mars Bar a day at work, rest, and play.
Mars Bar, an official snack food of the 1984 Olympic Games.
84 kilometers to travel, 340,000 kilos to haul. You wanted to cut operating costs,
and fuel consumption by adding a third trailer to your truck train.
That's not easy on the rig.
But the load was too big a strain on the differential, so Esso developed a new oil to protect it. Working in a variety of areas helps Esso find products which benefit everyone, everywhere.
You make us better, you do. Esso.
So the final score, Soviet Union 4, Canada nothing. And all things considered, Bertie, that's not bad.
No, really, Lloyd. You're looking at perhaps one of the powers of hockey. They have trouble with our NHL teams in the Canada Cup and at the World Hockey Championships when we send our pros over to Europe. But you know, you talk about determination. It was not exemplified any better than what we saw today at Zetra by Dave King's young Canadian Olympic hockey team. What an outstanding effort they turned in against the Soviets. They had a few injury problems. They went basically with 3 lines and 4 defensemen against that well-oiled Soviet team. Well-conditioned, they went with 4 lines. Well, it was 2-0 heading into the period. The Soviets made it 3-0 at 14:45. A bad clearing pass, and it's a short-handed goal by Alexander Skvortsev. Pat Flatley tries to get back here, a desperation swing, got a piece of Skvortsev, but he lifts it into the net past Mario Gosselin. Alexander Skvortsev making it 3-0 for the Soviets. And then they closed it all off with Warren Anderson on the ice in one of his rare appearances at the Olympic Games. Drozdetsky moved in and made it 4-0. Unfortunately, Warren Anderson out there in the third period lost control of the puck. The medal round now includes results of all games involving the 4 teams in the medal round competition. So looking at that, Czechoslovakia and the Soviet Union tied with 12 points apiece. In the medal round, Czechoslovakia has defeated Canada, and they shut out Sweden today. So they'll meet in the big gold medal game to be seen live on CTV on Sunday, the Soviets and Czechoslovakia. And then, of course, the bronze medal game, Canada and Sweden, starting at 4 a.m. Eastern Time live on CTV. Canada needs a tie or a victory in that game. And what a contest that'll be. It's been a long drought between medals for Canada at the Olympics. Our last medal was 1968, and we're all looking forward to that doubleheader on Sunday.
Wouldn't that be great to bring home the bronze?
Oh, great.
Bernie, I just want to ask you about the injury situation. Do we know anything about the defensemen that were injured today?
Nothing further. Robin Bartel has been bothered with an injury all through the Olympic Games and aggravated it in the first period. We'll certainly check and have a report later tonight. That's why we saw Warren Anderson out there in the third period.
Right. 2 cheap goals by the Soviets in that third period, too.
Well, they capitalize every opportunity, Lloyd, and that's why they are one of the great hockey teams of all time.
Right. Well, now coming into the Canada-Sweden game for Sunday morning, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 o'clock out in your territory in Vancouver there. You've seen Sweden play a couple of times. You know the Canada team very well, of course. How do you look at both teams at this point?
I think it'll just be a classic hockey game. Sweden has been playing much like our standard of hockey, the Dave King influence on this team, where it's wide open, freestyle, a lot of skating. They've been getting great goaltending, and so has Team Canada. And I think it'll be just one of those seesaw, electrifying battles, and it should be an action-packed day.
Right. Well, Sweden has done very well so far for itself in this tournament. But if it comes down to a tie, Canada will still take the bronze. Tom Watt pointed that out to us earlier. So Canada on Sunday morning, live here on CTV, will either have to win that game or tie that game for a bronze medal. Would be great to take home that bronze medal. Well, we'll be back shortly. CTV's live coverage of the 14th Winter Games from Sarajevo continues in a moment.
Balance. An Olympic gymnastics champion grows up with it, works with it, depends on it. In your personal insurance planning, Crown Life can help strike the right balance between protection and financial growth. Crown Life specializes in helping people achieve the right balance between protection for their family and assets and maximizing their investment potential. Crown Life, official insurer of the Canadian Olympic team.
My business is unique.
So, for a small computer, I called IBM.
What's your problem, they asked?
Inventory.
Shipping.
Billing.
Cash flow.
Everything.
and IBM helped me find the best solution for now and when I grow.
And they backed it with IBM service.
Am I glad I got an IBM small computer?
I'm delighted.
Out of the darkness, there's a light. Let it shine on through.
Till tomorrow brings the dawn in this magic view.
There will never be another night that seems so right. And blue smiles along.
Taste keeps coming through.
Blue smiles along.
Taste keeps coming
yes,
through.
blue smiles along with you.
There is a special feeling in Oldsmobile.
What makes the new Oldsmobile Forenza a whole lot of fun to drive? A whole lot of things. Olds Forenza has front-wheel drive, available 5-speed, peppy 2-liter engine, and handling that's real sporty. But what makes this fun-to-drive car special is that it's an Oldsmobile. So it's not only fun to drive, it's fun to arrive.
There is a special feel in an Oldsmobile.
Just approaching 11 o'clock at night here in Sarajevo, and here are the medal standings after another day of competition. The Soviet Union lengthening their lead slightly over East Germany by picking up a gold medal in the biathlon relay. They now have 21. East Germany has 19. Finland in third place with 10. Norway in fourth place with 8. The USA with 5. They had hoped for a medal at least in the women's slalom race held today, but no such luck. West Germany added a bronze, again thanks to the biathlon relay, which brings their total to 4. And that puts them in a tie with Sweden, Canada, Switzerland, and Czechoslovakia. And as you look further down the list there, don't forget that Yugoslavia, the host country, has a medal this year, a silver, which they have already won in skiing, and that gives them their first medal ever in an Olympic Games. So that's it for now. We will be back in 2 hours at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and at that time we'll have a comprehensive look at the entire day in Sarajevo, including women's slalom, 4-man bobsled race, and a complete hockey review. So goodbye for now from Sarajevo.
Sarajevo 84, the 14th Olympic Winter Games are brought to you by Crown Life, the official insurer of the Canadian Olympic team. IBM Canada Limited, helping Canadians reach beyond. 20th Century Fox. Coleco Canada Limited. Swiss Chalet, never so good for so little. And by the CTV Television Network. Official sponsor and clothing coordinator of Canada's Olympic teams.
This is the CTV Television Network.
Of Team Canada have every reason to hold their heads high today.
I agree completely. I think the Canadian Olympic hockey team played beautifully this afternoon against the Soviets. They didn't win, but considering how awesome the Russians are, to hold them to a 4-0 victory was no easy feat. They played some of the best defensive hockey I've seen in a long time. Let's watch. Some great goaltending from Mario Gosselin today. He stops this breakaway to keep the game scoreless in the first period. Great save. And early in the second, he pulls off some more heroics. Then with the game scoreless midway through the second period, Bruce Driver has a breakaway, but he's stopped cold by Tretьяк. Seconds later, the Soviets took a 1-0 lead when Cauvin put in a loose puck. And then Kozlinikov was the trailing man on this play. He took the pass and beat Goslin. 2-0 after 2 periods. The killer, as far as Team Canada was concerned, was this goal by Schwartzoff. It was a short-handed tally coming on Canada's very first power play of the game. Soviets added another to win it 4-0. Still a great effort by Team Canada. The Canadians play the Swedes early Sunday morning, and I mean early. It's being televised at 4 a.m. They must tie or beat Sweden to win the bronze medal, and I think they're going to do it.
The Team Canada plan was not to get blown out of this game, and they most assuredly did not. They executed their game as well as any team you'll see play against the Soviets, but of course, when you play that way, you limit the offensive chances you're going to get. But what Canada wanted to ensure was that when they play the Swedes on Sunday, they would enter that contest with a better goals for and against record, so that in the event of a tie, they would get the bronze medal, and they have accomplished that. The Swedes played well themselves today against the Czechs, losing 2-0. So they will meet Canada for the bronze medal at 4 a.m. Toronto time on Sunday morning. And then right after that, the Czechs and Soviets will meet for the gold and silver medals, respectively. And it will all come your way here on CFTO.
Gosselin stopped one shot, but Cauvin knocked in the loose puck to make it 1-0. Less than 3 minutes later, they scored again. Nikolai Drozdetsky centered a pass to Alexander Kozevnikov, and it was 2-0 after 40 minutes. Team Canada got their first power play opportunity with just over 5 minutes remaining, but it backfired when Alexander Skvortsov broke in on Gosselin and lifted a backhand shot into the net. Then, with 3 minutes to go, Drozdetsky got credit for a strange goal. Canadian defenseman Warren Anderson misplayed the puck, and it slid under Gosselin to make the final score 4-0. It wasn't a dirty game, at least not until the final minute. That's when Vyacheslav Fettisov decided to introduce the blade of his stick to Dave Gagne's head. Gagne was all right. Fettisov was given 2 minor penalties. On Sunday, the Soviets will play Czechoslovakia with a gold medal on the line. Canada will take on Sweden, hoping for a bronze. Terry Walker, CBC News.
Now let's just check the other scores. The Czechs beating the Swedes 2-0. That's their second straight shutout. Team USA will finish 7th in this Olympiad. They beat Poland 7-4, and West Germany surprising the Finns also 7-4.
When the Canadian hockey team won just 2 of 10 games on its home turf against the second-string Soviets, it didn't look good. Then they lost the final 2 exhibition games against the United States and finally dropped 3 straight matches to West Germany just before the Olympics. Prognostications for success were not easy to find, but they put it all together in Sarajevo, upsetting the Americans 4-2, taking easy victories over Austria and Norway, and in between a come-from-behind 4-2 triumph over Finland. 4 straight wins in the preliminary round and qualification for the medals final. Canada's first loss, 4-0 to Czechoslovakia, was a game much closer than the score indicated. Now, it's the awesome Soviets, a team called the most powerful ever to represent the USSR. Well, it's always exciting when Canada and the Soviets meet in hockey. Let's go to the Zetra for the outcome now.
Mathematically, a gold medal is still a possibility for Canada's Olympic hockey team. But tonight in Sarajevo, one would have a difficult time finding anyone willing to wager that will happen. Canada would have to defeat the Soviet Union, the team everyone is picking to win the gold medal. And then the Soviet Union would have to defeat Czechoslovakia in the final game of the tournament. That would mean a 3-way tie if Canada wins its final game against Sweden among Canada, Czechoslovakia, and the Soviet Union. And then the gold and silver would be awarded on the basis of goals for and against involving the competing teams. A little complicated? Well, I really don't think so, because there isn't much likelihood, in the opinion of most observers, that Canada will beat the Soviets. The Soviets started quickly against Canada. Just seconds after the opening face-off, Sergei Makarov broke down the left side, cut around the defenseman, and drove for the net. But Mario Goslin, a tower of strength for Canada, throughout the tournament, made the save. Midway through the period, following a penalty to Bruce Driver. Watch how totally the Soviets dominate play. The puck during the entire 2 minutes does not leave the Canadian zone, although the Canadians did keep the Soviets off the score sheet thanks to some erratic shooting and some fine saves by Goslin. But the Soviets so dominated the first period that only half the ice really had to be flooded at the intermission. Now that's not meant as a knock on Team Canada, but simply a statement to point out how totally the Soviets controlled play during the first period. The Soviets constantly beat Canada to the puck. They had Canada running around with their pinpoint passing, and they were very strong along the boards and in the corners. They proved almost impossible to knock off their skates. Team Canada deserves a lot of credit for its performance tonight. They came into the game with about as much chance to win as the New Jersey Devils have of capturing the Stanley Cup. Canada was facing a team that ranks as the best in the world, a team hand-picked from a tremendous pool of Soviet talent. Now, the Soviets were embarrassed by their loss in Lake Placid in 1980. They aren't about to be embarrassed in 1984, playing here in Eastern Europe. But despite those tremendous odds, the Canadians gave it their best shot, and the pro-Canadian crowd at the Zetra Sports Hall considered it a moral victory to hold the Soviets scoreless through 20 minutes. The Soviets did not score during this power play opportunity on the penalty to Bruce Driver. In the second period, Driver was in the penalty box once again, and Canada almost scored the first goal of the hockey game. Watch what happens with the Soviets applying pressure. The pass bounces off a stick at the blue line. Driver coming out of the penalty box, picks it up, and he breaks in alone on Vladislav Tretьяк. While he wasn't tested that often, Tretьяk did come up with a couple of big saves. The Soviets finally scored moments later. Igor Stelianov took the original shot from the point. Goslin made the save, but he couldn't control the puck. And Vladimir Kovin alertly raced in to grab the loose puck and flip it over Goslin. Watch the puck lie at the edge of the Canadian goal. Goslin reaching for it. He can't get there in time, and Kovin puts it in. Then at 14:19, Alexander Kozebnikov made it 2-0. Nikolai Drozetsky, the Soviets' leading scorer with 9 goals, started the play. He fed it out front to Kozebnikov, and Goslin really had no chance. Out front and in. However, after 40 minutes, the Canadians still had a chance, trailing by just 2 goals, even though the Soviets had thoroughly controlled play. But any hopes of realizing the impossible dream vanished when Alexander Skvortsov scored a shorthanded goal. Canada was guilty of an errant pass, and it was fed ahead to Skvortsov. Cutting in from the left side against Pat Flatley, he put the backhand up and over Mario Goslin. That goal came at 14:41. Just over 2 minutes later, the final Soviet goal. Unfortunately, it was knocked into the net by defenseman Warren Anderson on his only shift of the hockey game. Harassed by Drozdetsky in his own zone, Anderson, attempting to go around his own net, has the puck knocked off his stick and past Mario Goslin, who appeared to be caught unprepared. That made it 4-0 for the Soviets. Canada has been shut out in both games in the medal round. But a win or a tie in the final game on Sunday against Sweden would give Canada the bronze medal. Canada has not scored, but has only given up 8 goals, while the Swedes, who have scored once, have yielded a dozen. Canada and Sweden for the bronze, the Soviets and Czechs for the gold.
5 sports with medals on the line. Horst Bulau says he wants to erase the memory of last week.
And they play Sweden here in the big game on Sunday. It was a determined effort by our young Canadian team tonight. Let's not forget they were up against a very strong Soviet team. Mario Goslan stops Makarov in the early going as Fettisov feeds a perfect pass to Makarov right in front, and Mario Goslan is outstanding once again. Then a few minutes later, Bruce Driver's in the corner, attempting to get the puck. It's dug out by the Soviets. Now watch it come to Homatov, who feeds it in front to Tumanev. He has a great opportunity, but he's stymied by Goslan. Canada played a disciplined game and were under a lot of pressure, but they did have some scoring chances. Bruce Driver steps out of the penalty box here. He brings the fans to their feet, only to be stopped by Vladislav Tretьяк, still one of the premier goaltenders in the league. But a big scoring chance by Bruce Driver. Canada had another exciting moment in the play. Kerry Wilson takes the puck. He spins in the Soviet zone. And then he combines with Doug Lidster and Pat Flatley. Lidster, number 4 on defense. The puck will come to Lidster, who in turn gives it to Flatley, and then Kerry Wilson moves to the front of the net, and Tretьяк is forced to make another big save. The game's first goal was scored on this next play. Number 22, Stельнов. The puck will come to him as he moves in. Goslan is down, and he will make the save. Attempts to stretch out his pad on the rebound, but Vladimir Kovan is there to get his 5th goal of the Olympic Games. I'm sure Goslan was saying, oh, for a longer goal pad. He just stretches out, misses the puck, and Kovan has scored the first goal of the game. The Soviets then made it 2-0 as Drozdetsky picked up his 11th point with the assist here, goes outside, drops it back to Kozhevnikov at 14-19, and it's 2-0 for the Soviets. Great play by Drozdetsky, going outside, gets by Craig Redmond. Patrick trying to catch up. Kozhevnikov is there, and it's 2-0. The Soviets added 2 more in the third period to keep their undefeated record intact. A bad clearing pass by Canada. Skvortsev, he's in, and it's 3-0. Time of the goal, 14:45. Flatley makes a gallant attempt to stop him, but Skvortsev scores. Dave King knows his team, facing monumental odds. The final goal of the game, Warren Anderson has the puck roll off his stick, being pursued by Drozdetsky, who gets credit for the goal. A shutout for Tretьяк, 4-0. The Soviets have only allowed 5 goals in 18 periods of hockey. They now meet Czechoslovakia for the gold medal. We'll have the game Sunday on CTV. As far as injuries are concerned with Team Canada, Robin Bartel injured his knee in the first period. He's definitely out for Sunday's game. Kurt Muller had a knee injury, did not play in this game. Bruce Driver blocked a shot, missed a few shifts, but came back and played a strong game. He's standing by with Ken Newens.
Bruce, your strategy in this hockey game, you almost seem to have one forward dropping back all the time to play 3-man back to cut down the middle, I suppose.
Yeah, that's exactly how we saw the Swedish team play the Russians the other night, and you know, they kept one man back, and you know, it kind of clogged up the neutral zone for the Russians, and they were, you know, they'd have to regroup and think about it a little bit more, and we wouldn't really give them that many opportunities to take our zone.
After Bartel got hurt, you seem to be a little short of defensemen, but you still played pretty well. I noticed you especially taking your man extremely well on your own end.
Well, you know, it was pretty tough tonight because we only went with 4 defensemen pretty much the whole game, and you know, with a player like Robin, I just hope he's not hurt seriously because we'll really need him back for that next game.
How good are the Soviets?
The Soviets are very, very good. You know, we were just happy that we were in the game the whole way long, and you know, we tried our best, and that's all we can say.
What about Sweden on Sunday?
You know, even though it's going to be an early game, it's an early game for both teams. It's a 10 o'clock game in the morning. But, you know, we're going to just go out and work as hard as we've been working all tournament long, and I'm sure we'll come out with the win.
You've got to be self-satisfied. The entire country is proud of you.
We're pretty satisfied with our progress right now. Our goal way back in September was to make it to the medal round. You know, now we've done that, and we want to go for the bronze medal now.
And what a game Bruce Driver played in that contest here. Defensively, Canada